Oh Jesus! Oh God! There's so many people in here.
Listen,
Half of them are drunk.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I need to know this. Is Craig's voice the same as the dude who records the lines for Heir to the Cum Throne?
I don't
even know what
I don't
you're
know what
fucking
you're
talking
talking
about.
Yeah, I got no idea what you're talking
It
what you're going on
sounds
about.
just like him. I've memorized that song.
Is
They
this
might have
one
just
of your
used
weird
Craig
pony
to record
things?
that? It's one of this weird Norglish meme things.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So what are we here to bitch about today?
This is going to be the total shitcast. We're talking about Total Warhammer and how miserable it is. Oh
I
God!
can't wait for
The
Ogre
donuts.
Kingdoms, only $19.99.
Because
The
I was
DLC.
about to say, I'm gonna say it hard R. Zeem, you have the most playtime in Total Warhammer 2 out of anyone else in Hate.
Yeah.
You
and-
bitch! What have you done?
And you
And?
I
probably
blame myself for
you
this.
probably used at me at least 200 times in the outhouse, describing how your Tomb Kang party squad beat the shit out of Archaon.
I will never forgive them for what they did to Tomb Kings.
Look, man, I
Who
just
cares?
had to. I had to show off some of the dumbest shit I've done.
Where are
Like-
my incantations, CA?
Like, dude, I went into the laboratory the other day after the new update, and I fucking killed. I Grimgore and like 19 rogue idols killed 22,000 elves in a single
As it
battle,
should
and
be.
That sounds like a
suffered
good
no
day.
losses. It was like, who would win in a fight? The greatest army of the highest elves ever seen, with all of their magic, might, and dragons, or a bunch of rocks. A bunch of fucking rocks won.
Broken. The donut
I mean-
has fallen.
Like all donuts, there'll be a cop there.
Gotta keep these animals in line, boss.
Just imagine like Tyrion going around beating up black people just for being
He
black.
already does that. What do you
Doesn't he already do that?
mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
They're called Dark Elves for a reason.
you gotta love how like dark elves are an ethnically different group. Like, there's no like other than Elithanar, there's nobody on Uthwan that doesn't have blonde hair since the dark elves left.
Yes, Seem.
Every other
As
species
are
has
genetically
different fucking
pure.
skin
They are
colors.
the Ubermensch.
Yeah, they're even
Elves
though like
differentiate by hair color.
Taking my dark pigment and going home. Fuck the Inuits and the Native Americans. This is my house now.
yeah,
Damn this contemptible snow.
shit.
How am I
What
supposed
is-
to breed velociraptors here?
It's full of
That-
Native Americans.
That's because it's all fucking retcons. Because it wasn't like when they originally got cold ones, their cold ones were called cold ones because they were actually like snow velociraptors, and they were like, wait, no, they should be in Lustria. And then they decided that like Nagarothi cold ones are a different breed.
Full of weird shit, ain't it?
Well, I mean, they kind of
Yeah.
have to be a different breed to survive in Nagarond.
Yeah, but it's like Nagarothi cold ones. Apparently, like they
They're
live
even
in.
dumber.
They have like hot caves. Yeah, and they're stupid as shit. Like they literally had the rules stupid for a
Oh,
while.
that's great.
So
yeah, like Trolls did.
Nagaroth and the Dark Elves is probably a good place to start this, because I feel like a lot of conversation today is going to be steered around the high
Yeah,
elves.
mostly about. We're mostly going to talk about Total Warhammer too, because this is right after the
The Grim and the
Warden
Paunch
Paunch-
release.
the Grim and the Grom, the Warden and the Paunch came out.
Has anyone actually played through either of those characters?
I'm playing as a.
What is up with Cooking Mama 2 Grom Edition?
Fuck off! Fuck off! No.
They're playtesting all the new ogre mechanics.
Who would
Yep.
win? The entirety of the Acer realms, or some goblins who ate some of this soup I just made?
This fat ass goblin.
You know,
Tucking all
you know
of
what?
one.
You know what I bet they're doing with their. I bet like you're right that they're playtesting ogres with all the monstrous shit and
I'm
Grom's
telling
cooking shit.
you.
I was saying that too.
But no, I'm saying you're right, Tacos. But
Oh, I thought
think
you
that
were
they're
saying that to half.
no. Half already thinks that ogres are coming because of that.
I don't
They
think they're
added it
coming
into the map.
They're getting
Yeah.
ready for the third game. They're not going to do ogres in this.
There's not going to be any more major DLC for 2. That's my
I'm
prediction.
telling you. Total Warhammer 3, the 4 races are going to be Estalia, Tilia, Araby, pre-order ogres.
No.
There better be. I don't care what else there is. There better be Dark Iron Dwarf, the Chaos
The
Dwarf.
Chaos Dwarves.
Did you seriously make a World of Warcraft reference?
There better be a bunch of fucking black tiny people.
Zine,
I'm not
Zine,
touching this game.
you are forgetting. You're here with Drunk Thule in the morning. 9209.
You started
Fuck you.
drinking 24 minutes ago. How are you drunk fool already?
Because
He's a lightweight. Leave him alone.
Because I'm too fat to be a lightweight.
I know.
I'm too fat to be a lightweight.
It's embarrassing to the rest of us.
Canadian liver, son.
All right.
It metabolizes alcohol at a rate of 200 gallons per second.
It's because I haven't.
Thule, you need to eat some troll meat so you can be as girthy as Grom.
Yeah.
I'm
Paunch
already
needs to
girthy as
catch up.
Grom.
Okay. I also want to bring this up so that we can do the fucking the pre-game wages early, because me and Zim already discussed this. But what are you guys' predictions for the Beastmen and the Wood Elves?
Beastmen
are always going to get sucked.
Alright, so
Beastmen are
I think
always
they're going to do
suck.
another lore DLC for the two.
Yeah, that's what me and Zim also predict. But what I predict is that we're going to get a pack where they add Ariel to Wood Elves and they add Taurox to the Beastmen. It's going to be the bitch and the bull.
Oh.
I'll be honest.
No. What they need to do, they need to add a female Beast Lord, and then they need to add a black Wood Elf in Orion's Forest.
I hate you. I despise you.
I really want them down in the Southlands, because I want Orion's Forest to be a thing. Like, I want there to be black Wood Elves there. It'd be funny.
High elves, fuck Beastmen.
Shaka Zulu. I want them to make Shaka Zulu a Wood Elf.
Oh. Isn't it already a thing? Like, I haven't touched the Vortex campaign since launch because it's.
I only played it once. I'm never doing it again.
But
And the Southlands is a
isn't
shit
there
show.
already a Wood Elven faction in the Southlands?
Yeah, no.
That's what he's talking about.
I want them to.
All right. So the Southlands, if the Southlands are Africa, then like the heart of the there's a magical forest at like the start of the jungle lands, like between the land of the dead and the rest of the jungles. That's basically the heart of the Congo. Yeah, it's the fantasy equivalent of the heart of the Congo. It is called the heart of the jungle. And it's called the heart of the jungle, and it's an Aethel Lorn forest. It's like one province. And
I always burn it to the ground.
Yeah, because like the faction there is the Bowmen of Orion, and he's just some dickhead who's like cool with you and wants to trade with everybody for the first like half of the campaign, and then later on he just decides to go on crusade on.
He just stabs you.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because
Why?
early game, he's representation of like Dutch colonies, but in late game he turns into King Leopold II, and he starts coming for your hands.
Well, look,
I need to rewind this.
As of all the last ELC, the Southlands is about almost as much of a shit show as Lustria is in the Vortex campaign now. So
The entire world wants you dead, as it should be.
yeah. Well, like it used to be like everywhere else is like Ulthuan is Babytown Frolics, and then Nagaron is like it's cold but everything's cool, and then like no pun intended, and then like Southlands is like oh look it's normal mode, and then you go to Lustria and it's Apocalypse Now. Like there's just everything's a fucking clusterfuck. Like you go to the fucking like west coast of Lustria, and it's like Teclis and Kalita are there like trying to rape everything you ever cared about. You go like to the east side, and it's like what? Clan Pestilence is throwing down with Itza. Clan Pestilence is throwing down with Itza, and then you have Vampire Coast and Lokir Fellheart throwing down with each other on the coastline, as well as Cult of Sotek fucking around with Clan Scryer.
It feels necessary to add that all of the Lizardmen are looking at this and going, maybe we should unite to fend off against this threat? No. Race wars now.
No. They unite in my campaigns. They always united, and it's fucking scary.
Never in mine. They always fought each other.
In my campaigns, they unite in non-logical ways. Like the first faction that always gets confederated is actually like the fucking what is it? The defenders of the jungle. So like so Nakai stops being a horde army and starts working for fucking Hexawatl like immediately. I'm like, oh my god, I got to deal with Frog Hitler and Nakai in this stupid fucking campaign.
Whoa!
The guardian of
Mazdamundi is Frog Hitler. His whole personality is destroy the warm bloods.
Can I just add in a quick anecdote before we continue? It's an aside, but it's related to the Lisbon. When I first started my Mazdamundi campaign, first time I ever touched Beastmen,
when you said that, I thought you said when I first started my Muslim campaign.
It's basically the same thing at this point. They'll never add Arabian.
6 years ago, at the start of the Caliphate. No, but the first time I played Mazdamundi,
Islam.
I immediately renamed my capital to E621, and I regret nothing.
You asshole.
You should have called it Shadilay.
You complete animal.
Listen, young one, to the sound of the jungle.
No, the Pepe Kek thing, remember?
Yeah, I know.
It's so
Fuck
bad.
you, Tucker. I remember.
It's so bad.
Jesus. No, but the fucked up thing about Lizardmen, to me, like the most fucked up thing is if you play against them and you're not, like, if you're not playing Lizardmen in that campaign, they always screw up their hero shit. So they'll always detach Croak from the rest of the army, like Gorok is running, and then he'll try to do agent shit, but he doesn't have the capacity to do that. So he just sits outside your capital menacingly. Like the entire campaign, like look, until you get rid of Issa, Croak will just sit there next to your capital trying to like steal his technology.
To be fair, if you woke up one day and there was a 1,000-pound frog skeleton just floating outside your front door watching you, you'd panic a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, but like he sits there for like 100 turns and never gets back into an army, even if they attack you, and you're just like,
is that all he does? Is try to steal technology? Because that's my experience, and I just think it's funny because he's like, teach me how to make a TV.
Yeah, he does, but like I think because of how Croak works, he doesn't actually have normal hero actions.
No, he's got a 0% chance all the time. So it's just it's literally you open the door.
It's just the AI like shitting itself, being like, hero steal, hero steal.
You open the door to your capital city, and it's like, oh, flying frog corpse. What do you want? Teach me how to use Netflix.
I have this fucking great image in my head of you just fucking hearing an ominous, like, wobbly sci-fi nose outside your door. You turn around, and this giant skeleton frog is just watching the Discovery Channel through your window. He's not like retaining anything they say.
It's just the Sci-Fi Channel, not the Sci-Fi Channel. And it's just like
the
Inception trailer for
Discovery.
Fucking turn 34. He sends a letter back to Hexawatl. I just heard about this great thing called a space elevator. I'll get back to you in like 100 turns if I discover anything else.
Oh god, no! What's terrifying is like you just start to like you sit there for 100 turns, like upgrading your capital over time. And he's still just sitting there, and you're like, all right, you know what? I'm not scared anymore. And then suddenly one day, like Gorok and Teeny Weeny and Nakai all show up at the same time. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And then like just sack the entirety of all your holdings in Lustria. Like, and you're just sitting there like, please God, let it end. This is horrible. Like the worst day was like I was saying before, the Southlands became a clusterfuck because they added all the other shit there. Since they added Malice Darkblade over in
then they added
like,
fucking Imric down there too.
The super duper trade aisles over there. Yeah, it's like Imric's down there and Malice Darkblade's down there. And then Clan Moors is still there. And like Clan Moors is still there. So is Tic-Tac-Toe and Krokgar. But for some reason, like Krokgar's AI sucks, so half the time he'll get his shit handed to him by Malice Darkblade and Clan Moors. And then he'll like die, and like he'll nearly die and then confederate with Hexawatl. And then his kingdom will get taken over, and then Hexawatl will respawn him. So you'll be dealing with your campaign in Lustria being like, I'm just hacking through the jungle. I already dealt with Gorok. I finally got rid of Nakai. Mazdamundi's on the other side of the map. This shouldn't be a problem. And then fucking like Krokgar just steams out of the jungle, and you're like, what? No, God, no! Because he's still a terrifying threat.
Just full of tattoos, enraged, high on every shroom the forest can provide, coming directly for you.
Yep. And then like the only thing as bad as running into a Lizardman Legendary Lord in Lustria when you're not playing a Lizardman campaign there is like...
two.
No, it's... Well, you're running into two. No, like, what I did was I ran a Vampire Coast game, but I was Noctilus, so I never went to Lustria until it was already, like, getting clusterfucked in the mid to late game. And I finally, like, took over Luthor Harkon, got tired of his shit. And then I found out why he was so crazy and kept raiding everywhere else. It was because, like, the entirety of Lustria was just just pile of lizards all killing each other. And, like both Clan Pestilence and Clan Scryer got pushed out. Kalita was dead. Teclis was dead. But, like, fucking, guess who was still alive? Fucking Marcus Wolfhearth.
Oh. How the fuck?
And, like, he's not a huge problem, like his artillery's gay, but Vampire Coast, you could deal with him. What you can't deal with is that Marcus Wolfhearth, because he's an Empire, he's a human faction, right? He can hire Gortrek and Felix. And I didn't know this until I showed up there with one army being like, we're going to retake the Awakening. And then Gortrek and Felix steam out of the jungle, like right next to Nakai. And I'm like, no, we're not taking back the Awakening. Fuck this. And got back on the ocean and left.
Why do I hear Brian Blessed and why do I feel fair? God damn it. We've been in Lustria long enough. I want to touch on something else. It's very much balance related because I want to ask this and I want to see if we can get to a conclusion. How many specialties have the High Elves usurped? They already have better archers than the Wood Elves. They now have more and stronger monsters than Norska, thanks to Imric's gay dragons. They have the best spearmen, so they have excellent line holding. I don't remember if they're still stronger than the dwarves. Probably not in multiplayer, but they can be in campaign because of the gay way they lord.
The only thing they don't have is artillery, which doesn't matter if all of their monsters are flying anyway.
Nigga, their dragons shoot fucking Nazi space magic at you and you die. I count that as artillery. Breath attacks are stupid.
Yeah, they also have the smuggest. They have the smuggest generic lord I've ever seen. The Archmage is just a smug bitch. Every single variety of Archmage.
I love it.
It's like she's just a smug anime character being like, guess what, bitch? We now have law of battle.
I'm better than you.
I can't stand the fucking lore.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans if you want my feet pics.
Ah, fuck off!
I'll be entirely honest. When it comes down to all the lore stuff, like I don't know any of that. I enjoy the game. I fucking love the game. When it comes down to all the lore shit, I'm not well versed enough in any Warhammer lore, especially not the old fantasy stuff that I can actually fucking put together anything about this.
Okay, I can relate to you the greatest thing that ever happened in the history of Warhammer, like in lore. Do you want to hear it?
Oh god.
Fuck it. Okay. Go
so
shoot.
One day, Karl Franz, Emperor of the Empire, was sitting around in his capital, in his throne room, doing what he does, statesmanship. You know how he is. He's an excellent orator and businessman and all that. Suddenly, a delegate arrives from the high elven island of Ulthuan. And the delegate says to Karl Franz, I bring you a message from Alariel the Radiant. And he hands Karl Franz an enchanted scroll. And you know what's on the scroll?
I would assume some sort of fucky magic.
It's a magical rendition of her ethereal feet. She sent feet pics to Karl Franz, and Karl Franz was like, "Summon the Elector Counts. We must protect our queen at all costs."
I'll be entirely honest. I forgot who I was talking to, and almost thought this whole thing wasn't going to be a meme.
Yeah, he had me going for a second.
To be a
when he said the scroll, I was like,
and you assumed he wasn't going to bring a foot fetish into this.
Taco started it.
I sent him a picture of fucking tobacco, and he asked me for a foot pic.
Nigga, I just slammed like a whole shit ton of alcohol, and I'm drunk already, and I haven't eaten anything today. I am fucking drunk off my ass already.
Okay, can I tell? All right, no more memes. Let me tell you about something that actually did happen. Do you want to know the greatest story of Warhammer? The greatest thing that ever happened.
I mean, if there's not going to be any more memes...
No,
I swear to God, if you bring it up, Tony fucking...
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. Do you know who Marius Lightdorf is?
Oh,
I
no.
fucking know.
yeah,
Fucking pony fucker. I told you, don't bring it up.
It's not pony fucking. Do you know who Marius Lightdorf is, Thule?
Yes, I used to use him. He was
You're
my
not Thule!
He's
Fuck
asking
you!
Thule.
Fuck you, Half.
I do not. I do not at all.
He's Caligula.
Once upon a time, there was the most glorious motherfucker who ever existed. He is fucking crazy. He is, as Half said, basically Caligula. And his entire existence revolved around smugly sitting at a table, talking to himself, and occasionally looking at Carl Franz and saying, "Hey, Carl, yeah, Marius? Fuck you," and then leaving. So what had to happen is that Carl Franz had to send his champion to teach Marius Lightdorf some manners, being like, "Okay, you're fucking insane. I'm gonna make you fucking behave. You need to assign a counselor to represent you and follow you around and make sure you behave." And do you know what Marius Lightdorf did? He assigned his horse to the position. So from that day forward, he was riding around on his electoral horse, who was named after the Emperor's champion, Jon Helborg, I think. And then, out of the blue, he decided the fucking magical woodlands have gone too far. We need to declare war on the woods. And he managed to go attack the only non-magical forest in the entirety of the Empire. Marius Lightdorf was so powerful and so cool that GW decided to kill him for no reason.
I had his model. He had one of the best special rules in the game. He was just an Empire Lord choice with one better weapon skill, one extra attack, and a Rune Fang, and a special rule where you rolled a d6 and you either got a penalty, nothing, or a massive bonus. With even chances for each. And he had a quote: "Revenge is a dish best served cold or with cheese on a stick."
He's such a fucking great guy. It upsets me greatly that he doesn't exist.
Meanwhile,
I still have his model.
Meanwhile, in Boris Todbringer's castle, please tell me the Beastmen stopped attacking.
Look out the fortification. Is Kazrak still rubbing his dick on my wall? Yes, sire.
Kazrak beating his dick on a rock. Like, I'm coming for you, Boris.
Todbringer! Get out here! It's the fucking scene from Dragon Age Inquisition where the chieftain is like launching goats at the wall. You didn't see that one? Alright, let's skip that one then.
What was that movie where never mind, fuck it.
The beef between Kazrak and the Beastmen in general with fucking Todbringer and all the other Imperial realms is hilarious.
It's just sad because that's the greatest fucking battle in Beastmen history. Like, everything else is just them losing at everything because GW hates them.
I miss Beastmen.
GW's sitting there being like, wow, we even made new models for them and we still made them bad on purpose. How could the fan base not like this? I guess they're doomed never to be sold.
How could the fans do this to us?
Like, when they came out with the Jabberslythe and the Gorgon and the Cygor, and then like they came out with them, but they didn't give them good rules. It was almost like they were sabotaging their own model line on purpose. Like, I'm pretty sure the design team at that time was just like, no, we hate Beastmen, we don't need them. Even though corporate was like ordering them to make new models.
Now, is that the tabletop or? Oh yeah, new model tabletop.
Because unfortunately, a trend with this game seems to be the devs want to make High Elves the best, and then everything else follows the tabletop meta of 8th edition.
And that's why we me and Quinn built up our forces and fucking burned the donut.
Yes, burned the donut. The best thing about the Warden and the Paunch is that Grom starts on Ulthuan in Eye of the Vortex, so it's like finally there's actually a challenge. Because, like, you play High Elves, the only time your campaign's challenging at all is if you play Techless, because he deliberately isn't on the donut. But every other High Elf Lord is just like, no. I live in a magical donut with infinite trade resources of literally every variety, and then the best buildings and shit in the game. And all of the people next to me are not going to ally themselves. Well, you mean Alithanar? Yeah, Zach. The terrible life of Zach and Cody. Malekith versus Alithanar.
The horrible grudge of Alithanar.
A Lithanar starts on like the Nagarond Isles, but then he can literally just go back to Ulthuan, and like I think he already still starts with Nargothrond. Yeah. And the gayest thing about that faction is Nargothrond counts as wastelands. There's like three factions in the game that can live there. And it's like him, Clan Rictus, and fucking Katep. And everybody else gets penalties. Like even Tomb Kings and Vampire Coast get penalties for trying to colonize Wasteland. It's like, I get everyone getting climate penalties for Chaos Wastes, because that's what the Chaos Wastes are. But the Wasteland's just like, oh, it's just dead. Why the fuck are the undead getting penalties for colonizing there?
What makes so little sense to me is the fact that Noska suffers from like any kind of climate instability, because surely chaos provides for them. That's why they survive in this hellscape.
Honestly, I think that the climate mechanic is fucking stupid, and what it should have been was that I think that every single faction should have had a corruption mechanic, and their corruption mechanic affected the climate of individual like places.
Yeah.
So basically, it fits to their level.
I mean,
of
like
chaos,
Wood Elves and Lizardmen would be like,
climate.
yeah, like Wood Elves and Lizardmen would be like growing new forests around their cities or wherever. And then like Skaven obviously would be tunneling. Like Skaven and Chaos already basically make the environment steer them like their environment, their home environment anyway, with their corruption. Why is it that doesn't change the climate itself?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just it's just weird. Like I get that it's there to limit people, but it's gotten to be too limiting because it's very obvious that there's some factions that just like most Tomb Kings faction, like the Tomb King factions, other than I guess Coeur d'Libaris, can't do shit because their only fucking decent their only good climate is the desert. They don't even get preferred climate for desert mountains. Mountains are unpleasant to them, and everywhere else is unpleasant to unlivable. So it's like you can't act. It's like it's ridiculously hard to expand beyond Land of the Dead as any Tomb King faction.
It's still better than the first game, where you just couldn't colonize locations.
One of the things that makes a little sense is that Imperial Supply is already a system, so why can't you just have a system for Empire provinces, where you can just choose the current level of climate suitability, but changing it to green costs more, and that just represents the fact that Imperial Supply is compensating for how much this environment sucks, so we're putting a lot of fun into
that makes sense.
supplies.
That's why I love the mod for like the Southern Realms, where you could recolonize Skaven Blight, but it's expensive as fuck.
And dangerous, because you're like going down and making like an ultra holocaust on the rat dens, and the Skaven are like, shit, no!
The cheapest way to actually do that is what you do is you say, all right, we took the top level of Skaven Blight, we're going to put out a casting call to the fucking Dwarf Kingdoms and be like, we need every Slayer you have.
Alright, send in the man.
Great death, like they just sent him an advertisement. Good wages, great death in battle. Come to Southern Realms. Come to Northern Nostalgia.
Oh, Manlet's like, welcome. Get in the pit.
Just the eternal mosh pit. And it's just an endless stream of Slayers jumping into Skaven Blight.
We need light mages to make this rave a reality. Just like the fucking music starts, everyone's swinging around having a great time.
Except the Skaven. They're having a terrible time.
Except the Skaven. The Skaven have a terrible... Like, we're gonna keep swinging until everything is dead or until the corpses pile so high that they, like, choke.
Yeah, I still love that canonically the only person to have ever conquered a Skaven city that wasn't Skaven was actually Grimgor. Yeah, he just broke into it on accident, and the Skaven were like, who the fuck are you? And he was like,
Local dwarf falls into the sewer, has a great time.
Giggles with malicious intent.
Horny chuckling.
I love the fact that the dwarf voice lines, like whenever you select them, is half the time is like, yes, Lord. It's like one of those, and then the other one is always kill Urks. just the selection. It's like everybody else is like, yes, Commander. Yes, Commander. Yes, Lord. On my way, Lord. And dwarves are just like, yes, kill Urks. Kill Urks. It just.
It's such a passive green, like picking up the phone and was like, yes, you have reached Darwison, kill Orcs.
Kill Orcs. How are we still doing on that tractor deal?
It's like the equivalent of data entry, just goblin killing. It's like, it's a starting position, but the pay better as you advance. Eventually, we'll hire you up to Urksland. You'll have a much better time with it.
God, and like the orcs update, it's funny because like they're viable now in multiplayer. Like in campaign, they're great. In multiplayer, they're viable now, but they're still not like as OP as other factions.
Give it time.
Yeah,
You know how this works.
But
the meta needs to adapt.
The meta needs to adapt to yet more high elves being better than you.
The bullshit that happens every time CA does something like this is that they introduce something and they're like, oops, all meta, and the faction is just invincible for like a month or two until they finally nerf.
Just like Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
But, so hey, that means they're staying true to the original.
Yeah, it's except like the original was like at that when it got to the ending spot, it was okay. So what faction are you playing? I'm playing High Elves, Demons, or I'm playing High Elves, Demons, or Vampire Counts. Okay, you're good no matter what, just as long as you know what you're doing. What about you? I'm playing Dark Elves, Wood Elves, Dwarves, or Dwarves. Or Ogre Kingdoms. Okay, you're decent no matter what, unless you run into that upper tier of army. Who are you guys playing? I'm playing literally anything else except Chaos Dwarfs. Oh, you guys suck, and you can't be good at anything, and you're nearly unviable competitively. Have fun playing only fluffy armies and never winning a game ever.
The most hilarious thing in the world to me is the fact that Bretonia was introduced as being a cavalry faction, and yet they kept losing out to basic Imperial Cav because Empire could always field more of them.
Because the secret truth is that the secret truth, Alex, is that Bretonia is not the best cavalry faction. They're actually the best ranged faction.
What?
Yeah, yes. The peasants, longbowmen.
The best army Bretonians could run back in the day was not actually had anything to do with cavalry. It was minimal cavalry and then shitloads of peasant longbowmen because they could set up barricades. So they would just Battle of Agincourt every fucking army.
Oh, I was about to say it. You just
that make you always strike last.
You just triggered a Medieval 2 flashback.
Yeah. Half knows about this meme because he played the only other army that did the similar meme. Like,
what else? I mean,
no, Tomb Kings. Back in the day, the best Tomb Kings were so bad for a while that like their only viable army was you take Khalida and shitloads of skeleton archers.
Yeah, because she still had that fucking ability where she just applies poison. Right?
She made every single she made all of your units in the army have poisoned ranged attacks, and then like they had homing missiles basically because of arrows of a staff or whatever. So she would just sit there and look hot, and then like you just get hit with wave after wave of snakes.
The Tomb King arrow knows where it is. It knows this because it knows where it isn't.
Yeah, basically.
100% accuracy. 60% of the time.
Works 60% of the time, every time.
All the time.
Yeah. And then God,
sick and tired of these fucking orcs in my motherfucking Badlands.
What I was gonna say earlier before we got off track though was like Taka's reminded me. I mean it's a shitcast, there's no track. We're driving a train through the mud. But what I was going to say was...
train, baby!
Train explodes. but I was going to say is, I think Tacos was right when he said that they were testing Grom's, they're using Grom's, cauldron to test gut magic and shit for ogres. But I think also that, the new scrap mechanic they're doing for, applying upgrades in the middle of, in the middle of a campaign to different units. I think they're using that. They're also going to be using that for I can't say for sure, but I think if I was them, I would be using it to playtest mark mechanics for Chaos Warriors.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
Because it makes more sense to just be I'm getting Chaos Warriors. I'm getting Chaos Warriors with shields. I'm getting Chaos Warriors with this and that, and then you decide what mark you put on them because the mark.
I'm getting Chaos Warriors with raging erections. They're awful. Let's go, boys.
Slanesh 101.
Has anyone really I know I've done a decent bit of it. Has anyone else done any play into the Paunch?
Nope.
I'm playing it now.
I haven't yet.
Eltharion as we speak.
I haven't played any of the campaign. I've been playing around with a lot of their units in battles. I haven't done anything in campaign because I don't like playing the campaign without a lot of quality of life mods, and I'm waiting for all of them to update because CA is so bad at coding that every single time a fucking update to the game comes out, it fucking destroys the entire modding community overnight, and they got to rebuild.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough. I actually specifically started playing as the Paunch to prepare myself for this podcast, and
I love that. I just want to point it out that I love that like the High Elves are like they're still not really getting their comeuppance, but like they're the closest to it is they're finally getting somebody to invade their island immediately to not make every playthrough they have face roll, and it is the fat ugly bastard out of every doujin to show up in their fucking
Oh god.
yeah,
which is hilarious because Eltharion's thing is literally a dungeon.
He's
like,
literally Batman.
He's German.
It's not the Batman. It's like
Batman, though.
Generic setting of every fat bastard doujin ever made is a dungeon, and here he comes chuckling, scraping his massive troll donger over the floor, making haste to Torivres, preparing his magic cauldron to gender bend Eltharion into a girl, chuckling hotly as he goes.
Does that mean if Eltharion captures him and puts him in the dungeon, he actually loses?
He's gonna do Prom.
You don't understand. You don't understand, elf thing. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. Breaks free of his chains. Rips his pants off. Hey, Cobra.
Gentlemen, you have interrupted a very important.
God damn it, Cobra, we were talking about things.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go on. I want to hear that.
Fucking Tacos just destroys Cobra's momentum. Good God.
I want to hear this.
Every time he just joins in, derails every conversation.
There is no trail. We're flying through
Tacos,
space.
listen. I was having a moment. I was looking at pictures of elves here, and suddenly I get this fucking phone call. You're shitcasting without me. I came here as fast as I could.
I did not stop into this fight. I was summoned.
Fastest hand in Wolf one. God bless.
Jesus Christ. Hey, Cobra, how do you feel about how ridiculously smug the Archmage model is?
Oh god, I fucking hate it so much. Give me 20 of them.
Like, it makes me miserable because, like, yeah, they're the High Elves. Their shtick is that they have access to all the magic, but then, like, their shit is still busted. Like, they didn't need Lore of Metal. They already had high magic. This is retarded.
And they have fucking dragons, too.
As long as they don't get my Lore of Vampires, I don't care.
Yeah, they don't get Lore of Vampires.
Yeah,
You know who does get Lore of Vampires in the end times, though?
Balthazar Gelt.
Who is
Balthazar Gelt gets turned into a vampire by Manlet von Karstein during the end times.
Don't fucking do this.
How did he
to me.
turn him into a vampire? His fucking bangs would have broke.
Listen,
Clink, clink, clink.
Do you really
clink.
want to know? Because I'm about to tell you. Do you know how they turned Balthazar Gelt into a vampire?
How?
Please tell me.
Thoughts.
Yeah,
Are
because
you
before
me?
Manlet showed up, fucking Nefertata set a bunch of Lamian agents.
He gave up being the best wizard in the Empire for vampire pussy. It's not even hot.
Is that fucking it? When I read it, it said it.
The events. All right, look. Nefertata sent a bunch of Lamayan vampires and Lamayan vampires into his like gold harem, his gold harem, and convinced him to build a magical wall and make the orcs pay for it. And
Wait,
and
Nefertata did that?
After that, the events of Austin Powers 3 Goldmember ensued.
I just fucking know that, like, he saw Vlad von Karstein, like, rise from the fucking grave again, and Vlad was like, hey, listen, Undead is actually pretty fucking cool. You can have skeletons just working all of your shit, mining your fucking gold. And, Gelt was like, wait, you mean I don't have to fucking pay these people? And Vlad's
I mean, Gelt doesn't pay anybody anyway, remember? He just turns never shit into gold.
Anybody. You see, that's the beginning of the conversation where he says, I don't know. And then the follow-up is like the vampire pussy, and he just slams his fist and says, I'm in.
Why is Nakai at Lothern?
God.
It's already too late.
Nakai's AI in the Vortex is the best shit ever because like he doesn't have a job. He just is like, you know what? I feel like destroying those assholes today, and he just appears in a different continent. And
I hope he
kills
like, Tyrion. I do.
He probably will because Nakai is fucking disgusting in combat. Like his stats are overinflated.
Yeah. Oh my! Tyrion fucking cucked Imric.
What the hell?
He doesn't have Cylantro.
I hate you. Why'd you mention Nakai? I'm like 20 turns in on a...
And then he just appears.
Yeah, no, he literally just appeared. I'm 20 turns in on a Kalita campaign.
And then he's just there.
I'm on 28 as a fucking Eltharion.
That's what he does.
The best fucking AI for me is
or Ancients. The
fucking vampire counts AI has this famous fucking glitch where they're gonna seek out large battles so they can resurrect the corpses by instinct, even though they can't do it. So they're generally just gonna fucking go all over the map. Like you can be chilling in fucking Ofwan and Karstein will just be there digging for your fucking garbage. Just being like, yo, you threw this out? I'm taking this. Like
I love the fact that like Karstein used to be the scariest lord in the game, and then like they nerfed him, and then later on when they added Lokir Felhart showed up and did the exact same thing, where he was faster and harder to kill on foot than he was on a dragon. You're like, what the fuck is this? And Lokir Felhart, do not fear the Kraken helm, but fear what lies beneath its visage. I was just waving his swords around like an anime character. You're just like, what? Who the fuck is this guy?
The scariest thing I still remember from like the early playthrough when Blood von Karstein was like fresh off the presses was that he intercepted one of my reinforcing artillery armies and he lightning striked it. And I was like, okay, he mostly has skeletons, right? I can deal with this. I still have my guns. I can deal with it. I just need time to set up. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? And Vlad just comes running at 500 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Straight through the fucking woods.
He was the fastest lord on foot ever seen. And then he had Vanguard deployment for his whole army. So you're like, what the fuck is going on?
He runs up to my lord, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, and then he kills me in like 3 strikes of his sword because he was just high off his fucking nuts on strength potion.
I liked it right now. I think the strongest fucking lord is probably Luthor Harkon, and he doesn't even know where the fuck he is. He's just
Luthor Harkon is retarded because he's so crazy he can ride a Terrorgeist for no reason, and then half of his upgrade tree, like his upgrade tree for his personal combat, you can upgrade his fucking. So he's got a pistol, right? Like he just has that pistol from the trailer.
Yeah.
If you upgrade it, it turns into a grenade launcher. So he's he's a vampire lord with a grenade launcher on a Terrorgeist. You're like, how is this fair? And like the worst thing is
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, like basically, what's even worse is like he has absolutely no fucking anywhere in his tree he has no magic skills because his whole shtick is that the lizards locked him out of the winds of magic. But if you build his vault in his capital in the Awakening, and like at level 3 is the first time you can build it, and it's a piece of shit that makes all casters and all your vampire lords worse across your whole faction. And then if you get it at level 5, you build the upgrade to it. It does the opposite, where it makes all of them better and buffs your casting, and then it unlocks magic for him, and then he suddenly gets full maxed out level in Lore of the Deeps. So you're like, wait, what?
And Lore of the Deep is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Like, you're flanking me? I summoned giant enemy crabs. Oh, there's a guy there? I'm going to hit him with a tidal wave.
Cobra, let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're sitting in your Las Vegas home, right? You go out and you're like, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm going to take a dip in the pool. And then suddenly you hear it. You hear the noise of a helicopter. And in comes this fucking American Black Hawk, and the fucking vampire is sitting there on an automatic grenade launcher being like, your day has come to an end. And he just magically makes a vortex appear inside of your fucking pool. You fly into the air. He starts shooting at you and laughing. And all the gambling tourists are laughing. Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up, points at you. And he's like, that man has no swim shorts, he is naked. This is what he does to you. He has no chill. He is a high school bully on every kind of steroid you can imagine.
I had to go.
And he's so fucking batshit and say that all he does in battle is scream his own fucking name. It's great.
Luthor! Harkon! Does anyone know the way to Walmart? Bang!
We have to hunt down those lizard trinkets. He's in a drive-through at a McDonald's.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Do you want chicken nuggets?
He fires the grenade launcher through the drive-through window. He zooms out. He's not even in a car. He's still riding on the Terrorgeist. The Terrorgeist just walking through the drive-through on its bat wing.
Anyway, that's how I lost my driver's license. Fucking Noctilus is sitting on the table eating his Happy Meal. Harkon, what the fuck are you talking about?
Noctilus is probably the most overpowered lord in combat, though. Like, let's be fair here. He is stupid. He is built from the ground up to be gay as fuck. Because he's got, like,
and
all
he
right,
has the best default animation in this game if you just let him stand still.
Yeah, well, like, you don't even have to let him stand still because, all right, his mount is a Necrofex Colossus. So when you go to fight with him in combat, you show up with a sword, an axe. You can show up with the fucking sword of Cain. He has 4 cannons that he shoots at you in close combat.
That's fucking incredible.
He walks up and is like, hello, Manlet. And that's the animation.
Sir,
that's the animation that plays when you win battles.
Me with your boat, and he's just standing there soaking his chin dick going, Colonel.
Yeah, like, no, it's worse because he has, like, his animations for the campaign map are the same, but, like, everything's to scale. So when he wins an auto-resolve or a battle, and, like, you decide to execute him or whatever, you'll walk up and it'll be like some, like, old blood or something that's on foot being like, rah, 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 like, just doing its, like, like idle animations of, like, waving its tail and growling at the air. And he just walks up, he's, like, 4 times the height, and he just leans over and shoots it. Like, just shoots the enemy lord with the cannons, and they just die.
You dare fight against the Ghost Titan of Morai Ori.
He's so gay because he's got that. You can meme it if you get enough tech. You basically get like recruitment and upkeep of near free to free for Necrofex Colossi for his army.
I still don't understand how the fuck you did that.
He buffed the shit out of them.
I'm pretty sure that was a bug.
It
was probably a bug, but like it was retarded. It's a feature. And then, like, the dumbest thing about him is that he's got the 2 best spells from Lore of the Deeps, the 2 best spells from Lore of Vampires, and the 2 best spells from Lore of Shadows. Or, like, Lore of Death, I think. Yeah, it's Lore of Death. And then he gets the fucking casting buff of all 3 of them at the same time. So he shows up and he can resurrect his fucking... He can heal his Necrofex Colossi in the middle of battle, throw waves, summon crabs, and then, like, hit people with fucking Pit of Shades. And it's like, yes, this is fair.
I still remember
crabs by dropping trowel.
I still remember the fucking screenshot you sent. I can just imagine some dude being at the wall waiting, and some dude comes up, "Sir, we're ready to engage the enemy fleet." The enemy fleet? We're in the middle of the continent. And fucking 19 Necrofex Colossi just start walking over the hill.
Yeah, like I said, the scariest thing about them is not even just an ordinary one. It's that if you get the Gallows Giant, who's like, the whole thing is like, it's got better stats. Yeah, and it's got a flamethrower instead of the carronades. But they fucked up somewhere, or they decided to just screw people because the flamethrower only has half the range of the carronades instead of like a flamethrower range. So the fucking the gallows giant just walks a little bit. Like if you start a siege battle, all the necrophects can just shoot you from the start zone because they have cannon range on their guns. And then the gallows giant walks forward like 3 steps and then sets all of your walls on fire. Like it's a flamethrower with the range of archers. It's disgusting.
It's great.
Like, imagine just fucking Count Noctilus playing chess with like a 3-year-old, and when a child reaches out to make a move, he just like gets out a blowtorch and burns his hand. Like, wrong move, you little shit.
Yeah, basically. Like, if Count Noctilus wasn't that retarded, I would say the award for gayest legendary lord goes to Cylantro Deerfin, though, just because
I fucking hate her.
She is disgusting because it's like, okay, Lore of Deep's caster at max level. She rides
because she's fat.
She rides a rotting Leviathan, so she's literally giant enemy crab. And then it's like, she can summon Bretonian like Grail Knights in the middle of the fight, but they're also ghosts, so they get ethereal.
Shit,
and then her biggest thing is that her lord trait is everything in her army gets magical attacks. She gives her entire army magic attacks.
She cares. Have you ever fought against savage greenskins with Celestra?
Yeah.
It's so disgusting because their entire shtick is like, we have no armor, but we have this magical paint which gives us physical resistance, except magical weapons don't really give a shit what you look like.
Yeah, she's just
it's an equal opportunity chainsaw.
And like the thing that's fucking the worst about it is like, so you know how each of those lords has like their own like favored unit, right? Like Noctilus has his favorite unit is Necrophect Colossi, and Luthor Harkon just likes his cannon. Like,
he really likes Big Bass.
Arnessa Salt Spite likes gunnery mobs and shit. What do you think is Cylantro Deerfin's favorite unit?
Sirens.
Crab.
No, it's bloated corpses and Mourngulls.
You're shitting me.
She gets at max level. She basically gets like free recruitment of bloated corpses, and they're like the upkeep is like 12 gold a turn.
But why wouldn't it be fucking Sirens? She's a fucking
she gets a buff to Sirens too. But
all of the monstrous and ethereal units in her roster get extra boosts, I think.
Yeah,
like default skill tree that upgrades the Mourngulls and the Sirens has.
But it's like her army is just retarded because you just take her a bunch of rotting Leviathans, and it's just nothing but Mourngulls and rotting corpses. And the rotting corpses do magic damage when they explode now.
Do you want to know what the best single army you can feel as Cylantro Deerfin is? Giant crabs, right? You send them in and you make the enemy like, sir, our fucking sweet anime girl legions are overwhelming their crabs, and Celestia just starts chuckling, send in the fat uggers. Then the bloated corpses run into those blobs and explode, and you win the game in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, just send in the fat bastards.
Yeah.
Just like, imagine living as the Phoenix King of Ulthuan and knowing that she's out there in the sea and that one day she is going to come and fuck you, and there's nothing you can do to stop her.
She's just so goddamn mad that a random storm you had nothing to do with shipwrecked her before she could show up and give you what you would consider to be a mediocre opera performance.
I want that dick. I will not be denied.
No.
Summon the crabs.
It's either like it would be the most mediocre opera performance ever because she was a filthy human, or the best because the elves don't have any fat people, so they can't actually get any goddamn sopranos.
No, hands down, it was guaranteed to be the best opera they've ever heard. Because up until that point, they refused to listen to human art.
Sir, I'm back from the fucking Shining Tower in Lustria. I had to get the fuck out because the lizards were burning everything down. Did I miss anything? And he's just sitting there on the chair. Well, let me tell you about this fucking undead zombie that came in here. Started singing, threw all my guards out the fucking window, sent a bunch of corpses into the streets, and then started making moves, grabbing my dick. And I was defenseless. Like, Tyrion wasn't here. I couldn't do anything. So now I have fucking ectoplasm on my cock, and I can't get rid of it. But you're a mage, right? Can you help me? Here, take a look at my dick.
Where's Tyrion then? It's like, and it just smash cuts to Nagaron, and it's just all the Dark Elf lords like Clan Rictus and fucking Kotep just kicking Tyrion on the floor.
No. It smash cuts to fucking Ilario. His bedroom.
No, fuck you, God. Taco! You stole my joke. Smash cut
to so obvious. Come on.
Smash cut to smashing. Yes.
Fuck you, Taco.
It was obvious. Come on, Alex.
She has she has an achievement and a special building for like if she takes
Lothar.
If she takes Lothern, she can build a special building for her specific opera house. So I always imagined it would be like Teclis comes back from his vacation and is like, "What happened here?" And like the whole of like southern half of Ulthuan is covered in vampire corruption, and Lothran just has the Sydney Opera House, and she's just singing, and it's just the whole audience is just zombie. It's just zombie high elves like clapping forced to clap. Like Sandra fucking Cohen.
Finnebar is fucking chained up to a chair going, Teclis! Help me! I can't stand this infernal human screeching!
It's regular high elves chained up with zombies behind them, poking them with sticks.
It's just him clapping, and Teclis is like, wait, he actually likes that? And there's like a barrel of a fucking flintlock up to his head. Like there's just
it's not even a barrel of flintlock. There's a single bloated corpse in the middle of the fucking like uncle. And every time people stop clapping, he looks around. He goes, brr, 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 and they're like, "Oh no!" And they start clapping again.
You just hear the fucking Super Mario 64 bomb ticking noise just start to get louder. Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah,
I can never play it though. Her voice drives me insane.
Her voice is great.
I like that she sings everything. She's like, ha, ha, ha. Like when she goes on march, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on down there? She's like marching across.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans. We have premium feet pics.
Is that every legendary lord or just the vampire ones and it's just the undead ones that have to constantly call their own name?
Lord, I have a jalapeno in my nose now because of you bitch.
Okay, listen. I have another scene for you. Thule, can I tell you one of the other greater stories in the Warhammer universe? I guarantee you this is not real. This is a total meme. You're going to listen anyways. Go for it. Okay. We're in the Imperial throne room, right? Karl Franz is sitting there. He's sweating a little, like he's being a little nervous. And Balthasar Gelt has been summoned from the Golden Order. He's like, my liege, I'm back from financially eco-cucking the Dwarven realms. What requires my presence, Lord? How might I assist? And he's like, Balthasar Gelt, this is a dark day. I fear the Imperial treasury is lost. Lost, my lord? Yes, I donated all of the Imperial gold to Cylantro Deerfin's OnlyFans. We're bankrupt, Gelt. We're bankrupt. We need more gold immediately.
Wait,
the entire vault...
She said if we can't afford 10,000 gold a day, we should be working.
I've sent all of our magical shit in the vault to von Horstmann to pay for more feet pics, but it's not enough, Gelt. I need more.
If Balthazar Gelt looks into it, he finds out the rest of the elector counts all like subscribe to our Ness Assault Spites OnlyFans. There's a civil war going on.
Yeah, she doesn't even have feet.
There's a civil war going on. Bretonia's collapsed. The peasant economy is destroyed. Everyone in the world has 0% growth because the Skaven initiated a world plague.
Like everyone who paid for feet pics is into pegging.
Okay. Part two. Let's go. Noctilus shows up, right? He goes into like the high vampire court meeting bullshit, and he just sees Cylantro and Salt Sprite just sitting there, and they're like, "Why are you not doing piracy?" And they're like, "It turns out there's a much better way to earn profits right now, and all it requires is that this fucking nerd draws pictures of our feet and sends them to the Imperial hierarchy." We are earning
for fucking South Spite. She has no legs. It's just a picture of a fucking plank. It's like
everyone who's into her feet is into pegging.
Yeah, what's worse because she has those are fucking like swordfish. Those are like swordfish, not swordfish. Like the like the sawtooth. Yeah, like the sawtooth.
She used to be a mermaid.
She wasn't a mermaid. She was a mutant.
Yeah, a mermaid.
What's the difference?
Aren't mermaids a real thing in fantasy?
No,
probably.
I'm
yes,
not sure.
possibly. Go fuck yourself.
I know that she was a Norscan mutant that was like, I hate my fish feet. I'm gonna cut them off. She was a Norscan, and all the Norscan boys were like, "Hey, we like fish, but we hate women," and they threw her out of the long hole. And she was like, "I need to." Just threw her off a cliff, and then fucking Madlad was like,
You know how fish kind of just like fucking flail around when they're on air? Fucking Salt Sprite did that until she reached the ocean. She just flopped her way through the snow until she reached the water, and then she was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go subscribe to Madlad's YouTube channel, and I'm gonna become like a premium donator or something." And he was like, "Okay, cool."
What is this? It's like her life is just before. What?
And then she married iDubbbz.
Oh god!
Fuck off.
That's just
before I cucked iDubbbz, my life was the Revenant.
Can you imagine the story of like a Nordland hunter who's like, "I have a very bad sense of direction. Can you help me?" Dude, you're in the middle of the Norscan wilds. What the fuck?
I am not a clever man.
I am not a clever man. Can you help me?
How did you get here?
And fucking, instead of a bear, Throg shows up, and it's still the same plot as the Revenant.
He has to eat Throg's liver. Live on camera.
Turns into Grum.
Oh god, it's horrible.
There patiently, like, man, this hurts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Throg is such a great guy, though.
I'm still mad that Chaos Trolls are not, like, different than like other trolls, because it's like their whole shtick is they're Chaos Trolls. Like, come on.
I have something that's related to that, Zim. Thule, do you want to hear an actual story from Warhammer Fantasy?
Fucking do it, man.
Do you want to know the canonical way in which Sigvald the Magnificent died?
I believe I've heard this one, but go for it anyways.
I'll retell it anyways. Okay. Once upon a time, Sigvald and Throg were like, "Hey, let's kill people because that's fun." And then Sigvald was being like a real petty cunt about it. He was like, "I'm a very pretty boy. Look at my armor, look at my sword. Slaanesh loves me and you're a troll." And then he started fighting. He was like, "I'm going to stab this troll in the back." And as he tried to do that, Throg just summoned his magnificent Shrek 2 copyright DreamWorks rage and beat him to the fucking ground. He just hit him with the hammer, crushed him down so it's like a twitching wreck. Like, imagine any kind of gore scene from South Park. It's like that, only worse. And he was just twitching like, "Please, Throg, help me. I don't want to die like this." Do you know what Throg did?
Beat him more?
He unbuckled his loincloth. He got his fucking warty, scaly, icy troll dick out, and he pissed on Sigvald. This is canon. Someone in Games Workshop decided the way to kill Sigvald the Magnificent was to have Throg the Troll King piss on him, on his mangled, broken corpse.
And it's troll piss, so it's probably acidic.
And he live streamed the whole thing. And
Directly
Slaanesh was like, on the one hand, said Slaanesh, "I can't believe he did my champion like this, but on the other hand, that's kind of hot."
You know, I almost thought you were memeing, so I decided to look it up as you were talking.
No,
and you're actually
100% correct. It's true. It's the funniest.
It's the perfect end for a fucking prissy ass pretty boy.
Yeah, Slaanesh's scion got pissed on by a troll. Rest in piss, literally.
I wasn't expecting the piss part, but I was when you said the pants, I was expecting something else involving Slaanesh.
Yeah, fucking ripping piss.
I wanted Sigvald to get jarred.
What? Throg, what's the giant jar for? You'll find out. Does someone have a radiator I can use?
Jesus. God fucking damn it.
Okay, Taco. Thanks for that mental image. You can leave now.
God fucking damn it.
Just a giant circle jerk of trolls being ordered by Throg. Like, "No, keep going, we can do this. He'll drown eventually. He can only drink so fast."
I want to methodically fill Sigvald's orc armor with semen.
More than it already is, we mean. More than
lying
it
it
is.
wasn't.
The best part about Sigvald's character is still the fact that through the gaps in his armor, you can see that he's still completely naked. You can see his glistening man thighs through the gaps in his leg plates.
That was his original artwork.
I know, it's so fucking good. Like, it's so thematic. Sigvald is a piece of shit.
Oh no, it's great. When he came out, he had a all right. So I talked about like
came out how?
Shut up.
In every fucking sense of the word, chimp.
When he was first designed, like I said, I've told you about cold ones. Trolls also have a role had a special role called stupid, where it was like at the start of every turn they had to roll a leadership test, or they would just wander around like retards instead of taking orders, right? And the whole reason why Throg was amazing was he wasn't stupid. He could lead your army, and he made other trolls around him not stupid, basically, or let them use his leadership. Sigvald, he was like, he had a really high leadership because he was a Chaos Lord, but he had stupid. Not because he was an idiot, but to represent the fact he was so vain that he had to stop every 5 minutes and look at himself in the mirror. So like he had a special thing where if you took a unit of Chaos Warriors as his bodyguard, they would get a bonus, but it wasn't to represent them being better, it was to represent them all having mirror shields so that he could stop and look at himself in the mirror every 5 minutes.
That is amazing. Holy shit.
So they got a bonus for literally reflecting his stupid back at him.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, that was how he
but it's easier if someone else holds the mirror for him.
Yeah,
you can see them in the game right now because the Regiment of Renown version for the Chaos Warriors is still the Mirror Guard.
Yeah,
and fun fact, they stole that idea from fucking the dude who did Foe because he used the very same texture to make the custom Mirror Guard units, and CA was like, "Hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that." And they did the exact same thing.
And didn't even credit him. Bag it.
Like they ever do.
The Anglo strikes again.
It's so fucking weird that's one of the biggest issues right now is people not crediting each other. Or I'm sorry, corporations not crediting people.
Yeah,
man.
It seems such a simple thing to do, but I guess it's like a policy where if you acknowledge something, then people are going to be like, "You stole my work."
Artists had a job to do and just decided to steal it instead.
Yeah. Just like Star Wars comics, but that's not a hell of
Well, like, the other thing about him that was hilarious was that he had a special rule that, like, it made it, he and his unit were immune to difficult terrain. Not because they were great or they had Strider or something. It was because Slaanesh was like, my boy is so special, he's so perfect that he can't touch the ground. The earth is dirt is too disgusting for him. So he floats like 6 inches above the ground.
No, like he floats like a quarter inch off the ground naturally.
Like he just refuses to touch the ground. So him and his fucking mirror guard ignored difficult terrain because they would just float over whatever the problem was. So you could just have him just wander across a lava flow and punch some dwarves in the face.
Archmages are like, I'm the smuggest unit in this game, and Sigvald is like nothing at all.
Are you sure about that?
Looking in the mirror.
I hope they revamp him for the third game and he is as smug as he should be.
I want back for the Warhammer tabletop. That's going to be awful.
Oh my god, that's gonna be miserable.
He should have a thing where if he fights like infantry units, he should have something called Perfect Repose or something to represent the fact that he's a duelist naturally, right? But imagine if he's fighting against like random bullshit.
Yes and no. Like, he wasn't a duelist. The thing about him that
but I'm saying he is a duelist right now, which makes him good against lords. But he's a foot lord. He doesn't have any mount options, which makes him poor in the meta. Like to make him more desirable, you should just make it so that basic bitch infantry units can barely touch him.
Well, they couldn't. That was how it was. Yeah, like the thing was that the reason why he was
necessary.
Yeah, like the reason why he was a duelist lord is not because he had a bunch of special rules and gear that made him good at dueling. It was because Slaanesh made him have always strikes first, on top of having really good weapon skill and initiative. And so, like he literally would poke you to death with Sliver Slash before you could attack back in any case. Like, he still had a Chaos Lord stat line. Yeah, he still had a Chaos Lord stat line, so he could kill an entire rank of warriors before they could even attack back. So they would have to reform to fight him, and then it would be like, oh, it's next round of combat. I still strike first, and then kill the next entire rank of warriors.
See how Sigwald stabs the soldiers through their back.
Stabs the soldiers through their sacks. What? Ah!
Just random tiny thrusts of this needle-thin sword just being like,
What
did you do? You now have prostate cancer.
Speaking of mounting everything, fucking Quinn, when we ran the fucking dual
you mounted Quinn?
Fuck you. The dual goddamn Tomb Kings campaign. Everybody gets Cameron War Sphinx.
Oh no.
I hate those fucking
We had like a collective, what was it? We had a collective like 8 or 9 lords on Cameron War Sphinxes.
Fucking the power creep for Tomb Kings has been pretty bad, but the Hyro Titan is still good.
It looks so fucking cool. Like they did an
excellent job. I'm still
the
mad that during the initial release, they very obviously forgot about the Bone Giant. And then when they added it in, it doesn't even have a fucking unit icon. And like the worst thing is like I wanted to manually fire the Bone Giant as an artillery unit, and I can't do that. That makes me sad.
I still like that whole idea, but it's like he's a giant dude and he has a bow. It makes perfect sense now that you think of it. But I have a question. Those giants, are they actual giants from like ancient Nahakara, or are they constructs?
Tell him the story of the original Bone Giant, the dancing monkey.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's not anything like that. But Bone Giants were constructs out of basically like random bones that the Tomb Kings would found, sometimes including regular giant bones. But what he's talking about is Bone Giants used to be a melee-only unit with a special rule that every time they got a hit, they got another attack.
Oh god. What the
the model, like what was the thing was back in those days, the Bone Giant was like the only giant construct they had. Like that was before they had Sphinxes or the Hyro Titan or anything. And the Bone Giant's model was hilarious because it was like made of all these different sized bones covered in Nehekaran armor, and then the head was always like a giant fucking orc head or something, so it looked like a monkey.
Or an elephant head. But
yeah, it looked like a giant
I need to disclose a few more things about this. So it had base, I want to say 6 attacks at strength 8.
Yeah, so it would just smash everything.
It would smash everything, but what made it was okay because I want to say it was like 400 points. I'm probably wrong about this because it's been so long since I've opened that book. But what made it even better was when they finally, before they updated the Tomb Kings, they updated the additions again, and they added the impact attacks, which, when they FAQ'd it, counted as regular hits. So right off the bat, it had 9 attacks.
Yeah, which were like if you only need like 5 or 6 attacks to go through to destroy a rank of a unit in most cases. Which like the way it worked was if you killed everybody in the front rank of a unit that you had hit in combat, the prior rank behind them would have to move up and reform before they could attack. So they didn't get their attacks unless they had spears. So if you've destroyed the front rank of most units, you just could continue winning the combat. Yeah.
No, you can't just destroy the entirety of my infantry in a single swing.
Yeah. And like the thing about the Giant that was funny was that original model, it has the monkey head, but it was also posed in such a way that it made it look like it was dancing.
Yeah. That model's
amazing
formation was retarded because it was standing on one foot, which made it fucking break all the goddamn time. Its left foot was in the air, with the knee out to the left, and it had one sword down and then one sword held up directly over its head. So it looked like a fucking dance, like it was doing a sword, like belly dance or something.
Giant monkey go thwack.
Yeah, some kind of giant ape, sir.
And then the Hyro Titan actually never got a model when they introduced it. And then among other things that's scary, that like I told Alex about this and Tacos about this, and they were both like, this is bullshit. But you guys should know, they've done the Necrosphinx dirty. I know you're going to say that's wrong because the Necrosphinx is still disgusting.
No, go on.
Got done dirty.
Yeah, the Necrosphinx, when it was introduced in Fantasy, it can fly. like a dragon.
Are you shitting me?
Yes.
No.
Those rinky-dink fucking car dolls it has out its back can make it fly somehow.
Well, no, it's magic.
Magic!
Tomb Scorpion. So, deep striking 40k, right? If you bounce into something, you just die. In fantasy, Tomb Scorpions had deep strike, except if they hit a unit, they counted as charging it.
Yeah, because they come up from underneath.
From whatever side it came up on. So you could get rear charged deep strikes instantly for free.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane.
Fuck your nuts.
It makes it fair that like Tomb Scorpions are an auto win against most dwarf armies in the Tomb Kings games if you micro them, because their attack animations, like most monsters, they have an attack animation that lets them like move forward through a unit or whatever. The Tomb Scorpions is ridiculous because it moves them so far forward and they move so fast normally that you can have them. They will power attack through a unit of dwarves, and then you can just walk away, and their walking speed is faster than the dwarves' charging speed. So the dwarves can't catch up, and then you just circle it around and have them charge again, and it's just a free cycle charge with that unit nonstop.
And it also has armor piercing early on, and you start with one with several of the lords, at least 2 of them, I think.
No, you start. You only start with one if you play Katep, which is Katep, Arcan, which is important because, as I've discovered, with the new DLCs, Arcan the Black has the worst start location in Eye of the Vortex, like the worst, because he starts at the Wizard Caliph's palace in like the western side of Araby, right? Mm-hmm. North of him is Rapance de Leon and all of her Crusaders and the Arabian guys that are immediately allied with her. And then are immediately like,
do they still
Undead?
Have the, do they still have the fucking Ghoul Lord Empire? Strigoi.
No, those guys.
That's on the other side of that, now. That's the Martian of Madness. So, like, what happens is immediately north of you is Rapance de Leon's on Crusade being like, those are undead over there, and they work for Nagash. Crusade, and you're like, fuck. And then east of you are the Mountain Dwarves, and, like, as you know, Dwarves early game are ridiculous.
Yeah,
and they immediately ally with her because they're like, fuck undead. And then west of you is the ocean, but fucking Noctilus and Luthor Harkon will come across the ocean to pick a fight with you because even though you should be buddies with vampires, they're both crazy and retarded, and they're like, hey, we hate you. And then south of you is Clan Eshin. Like, Deathmatch Snitch is the next province south of you as a start location. So if you leave to go fight Rapance, you immediately have like fucking 3 Eshin armies show up in your goddamn capital.
Like, no. What happens is...
listen to me for 1 second. One of us here needs to take the meme with the 5 African-American gentlemen and just Photoshop Archeon's face onto the white girl.
Amazing.
What happens is you leave your house and immediately you just hear like a whooshing sound. You turn around, it's Clan Eshin, and they're like nothing personnel, kid.
Yeah.
And they just capture all your cities.
Clan Eshin is fucking disgusting. I gotta be honest.
I hate Clan Eshin so fucking much.
The Eshin Triads unit is horrific. I don't know anybody. Why did they think that was a good idea? Like, oh yeah, they're like Storm Vermin, except they have Sundering instead of armor piercing, and they're fucking invisible.
Oh my dog! What the fuck?
I think when myself and Quinn played as Tomb Kings, we never had an issue with Rapance de Leon. The only thing we had with her was every other turn she'd be sending us a thing saying, hey, give us money and we'll join like a war confederacy with you.
Yeah.
As she's sitting on her one little island not doing anything.
It's not that she was particularly good. Like, Bretonians aren't bad now, but it's the fact that, like, she's already there with allies and is like, hey, I hate undead. And as like, if you play Tomb Kings, you know, the Tomb Kings early game is miserable because you have to fucking like suffer through so much shit just to get your good units out.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But Arcan the Black does become like ridiculous later on.
We ran Cetra and Katep.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to unite Nehekara, but all I have are these bones. I keep throwing hit bones at them, but they will not go away.
I have to go back and play Cetra again because I want to play Cetra on Immortal Empires game with the only goal of going to Norska and beating the shit out of Surtha Ek. so that I can become the Ever Chariot.
Oh,
You
the
get a
fucking
trait for
trait
that.
you get.
Yeah, because he's like, there's a special trait specifically for Cetra beating Surtha Ek.
There's also one that goes back, but like what it does for Tomb Kings is it gives you plus 15 chariot capacity along with a buff.
Yeah. And it's just Cetra with like Cetra gets Vanguard deployment on all chariots.
It's the fucking Shaggy meme where Cetra's just standing there going, "You dare challenge me?"
Yeah. Well, like the memes about like Surtha Ek showing up and it's just the fucking Mumakil charge from the Battle of Pelennor Fields are absolutely on point. Like Surtha Ek, you don't stop him within like 20 turns. We'll just show up with like fucking 15 war elephants.
Beyond your comprehension, motherfucker.
Beyond your comprehension. Mumakil horns in the distance. Ooh.
Something I really fucking love about them is the cocaine Viking spell, where you just call the fucking coke Viking from people's army. That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I really fucking like that the devs are apparently so fucking aware of how much of a bitch Archeon is that if he comes along to like ask you to join the apocalypse, you can just laugh at him. You can just tell him to fuck off.
Yeah.
The Virgin Ever Chosen versus the Chad Wanderer.
It's so gay because Archeon used to be like one of the scariest fucking people in the tabletop.
And now he's a fucking joke.
I love it.
He was 1,000 times better than Abaddon.
He just fucking crossed the river, right, from the north. He saw the fucking dwarf row my building. He was just like, all right, I'm going back.
That is the big, like Crack-a-Drac is the hugest fucking problem with the Archeon campaign. Because it's just like, look, there's a like, welcome to the early game where you have nothing, and here's a giant fucking stone wall. You can't get around it. This is how it's going to be.
Would you like to enter my magical dwarf hold, Archeon?
Let me Swedish accent, okay? You have Archeon who's just coming up in like, well, we're still early in our invasions. We mostly have raided. Efficiently, we can. Hello? Yes, hello. We are the Norse dwarf Vikings. We were wondering if perhaps you could get the fuck out.
Alex, your Swedish accent isn't gay enough.
Oh, it's pretty close though.
I could probably add a list.
Alex.
I
love that. Like that video you sent where it's like where it's like English is a stupid language because if you take all these parts out and it's like how they were like dismantling English or something, and you're just sitting there being like, it's amazing how if you take all of the things that make English a language out, it sounds like Swedish. It's like, oh god.
I remember that video. And it's still on point because I still have an air for it. Like Swedish, like if you speak Norwegian and you understand Norwegian, the moment someone starts speaking Swedish, it's like you're a fucking droid and someone is firing an EMP gun at you. You just fucking you start falling out of the sky. You're disorientated. You don't know what's going on, but all you know is that you have to leave.
The time that we watched Kung Fury and there's the scene of the two Nazis talking to each other, and they have one guy starts and he's talking German and the other guy just speaks back to him in Swedish.
No, both of them are speaking Swedish.
No, none of us knew what it was beforehand. Then Alex like,
yeah,
that's Swedish.
Just thought it was. Yeah, that was funny. Like we were all watching, we just thought it was two Nazis for the sake of the setup of like, you know, these Nazis are about to get hit with a dinosaur. And it's like these two Nazis just having a conversation about their shitty mustaches. And then Alex just goes, they're not speaking German, they're speaking fucking Swedish.
It was so
even
funny.
more horrifying.
I just started breaking out laughing, and all you people like, why are you fucking interrupting the movie? Are you watching stupid FJ memes again? And I'm like, no, these niggas speaking Swedish.
The ultimate this nigga eating beans.
Yeah.
Okay, so they added Henry Cavill into the game, by the way.
What?
Oh my
did?
god!
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
he's
He's a no. He's
It's a lore
he's
master
some
Lilith.
fucking random low mess. Yeah.
You start with him as an Eltharian. He's a lore master with like a special trait called White Wolf.
I feel bad because it's like everyone used to be like, I really like Henry Cavill because he's one of us, and then it turns out he's like, oh yeah, I play Warhammer, I make models all the time, and he shows his models, and it's high elves and fucking custodes, and you're like, you're a piece of
oh no.
How dare you betray me like this, Geralt?
Dang it all along.
Geralt.
Oh,
yeah.
Because he specifically has a trait called White Wolf too, which is pretty great.
Also, his fucking name is like
and then the description of it is winds blowing or winds howling.
Does he actually?
His
fucking character?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
it's just a character called Cavill, who's
Lore Master Cavill.
Oh, dude! While we're talking about names, did you guys catch the thing that Mandela showcased? Vonheim, Vanda, Vonheimheim.
What? Oh, shit, no, I didn't see this.
What the fuck?
Vanwerder Vonheim Von or something. He just had some fucking ridiculously German name, and he just shows up for no reason and starts spanking you.
Oh, I'm not taking pig barter. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, they added Mandalore to the game too.
What?
Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah, they did. There's like Sarah Daller or something like that. That's like
Mandalore.
Like you get a bonus for you get it if you go to pig barter.
Oh.
It's worse than the Red Moon Inn.
Oh, that's funny though. Fuck you.
What's that? A follower?
Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
God.
You just the moment you open up with him, he starts shit talking your faction. Just
watching the third game, that, like
the problem with you making negotiations, your economy is shit. I don't know how you intend to keep up with the meta.
The funniest thing in that review was that when he started talking about, like the funniest thing in that review when they started talking about it was when when he like goes to the dragon at one point to talk about the meta, and it's just Joseph Anderson on some gay monologue about Total War, and he's just like no, and it like zooms out and cuts to something else.
Sir Mandalore, a strange knight who hails from Pigbarter. He appears to be writing a treatise on the relative merit of entertainment available across the old world. Public order +2, local province leadership +4, and fighting against Skaven.
I love the fact that the army that got him was Balthazar Gelt. That fits. Because that review was so long coming, because like he like showed up 2 years ago with the Balthazar Gelt with teeth picture and was like, guys, I know what game I want to review next, but it's gonna be some time. It's like fucking 2 years later, 2-hour review of Total Warhammer.
He kept commissioning people to put like Greg's poster on dinosaurs, SFM people to do like the fucking Manlet chaos and shit.
The fucking the Saurus warrior with a desert eagle was pretty funny.
Like, that was pretty fucking good.
He just fucking shoots him.
The worst thing was like that was just fucking like awful though that he had to associate with fucking what I just forgot his name, the Berries and Cream boy, the dickhead who got to voice the High Elf faction, and then
fucking H Bomber guy.
Yeah, he had to associate with fucking H Bomber guy. I'm like, oh my god, Mandalore, Jesus Christ!
But then Seth came along.
Yes. No, Seth was the perfect counterbalance to that, but. Like, H Bomber guy is legitimately like a complete piece of shit. So I was like, why would you fucking talk to that man?
Have I told you people the truth about Seth?
Oh, no.
He's a
no.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, actually, he went to a farm. He went to a big farm. That's the truth. You don't have to know.
Oh, my God. How do you know this about Seth? What?
Why the hell all of Cobra's quote unquote
Cobra? What are you talking? What is it? What
like drug-induced ravings?
Because he's Slavic. That's how it goes. Haven't you read the Witcher books? Cobra's every fucking extra in a Witcher's book.
I have not.
At the same time, they even have that voice actor with the gravelly voice that sounds like the fucking Viking sea dude from Game of Thrones.
Like Cobra is every single NPC in a Witcher game and simultaneously. Like.
It is.
Go on then, Witcher. Grab your coin.
But
Cobra, if you start yelling in Turkish, we're gonna call you Master Mirror.
Listen here, Effendi. You remember how I was the president of furries, right?
Oh no.
And I was in this.
Is president the correct term?
I was democratically elected.
He was the alpha of the pack.
I thought it would be chancellor.
That also works, but anyway,
that only applies for the Nazi furs.
I was in a fucking furfag Discord with an awful fucking furfag in it called Fanny. I occasionally shit on him spontaneously because I hate Fanny so fucking much.
Oh, I remember you told me this story, and I was horrified at the time as well.
Yeah. So Fanny and Seth are buddies for a long fucking time. And it turns out that Seth has actually has street cred with a furry fandom. God bless you, might be one of them. But he also said that he only does the fucking fun shit just to milk people for money, obviously. But in reality,
that's what I do.
He is a dirty, tranner-loving, furry-tolerating leftist.
The important thing is that he still mocks the furries.
He is a Canadian, but I mean that would kind of like. I'm not saying that this is correct. I'm just saying that would at least like explain why he got away with taking Panda Bitch and putting it in his like that game review and not getting like sued the fuck out of over it.
Getting destroyed.
Fucking thing
about
is
armored warfare again.
He is not supposed to financially recover from this decision.
No, because of the fucking the tranny YouTuber.
Oh yeah.
In Armored Warfare, who started every match by spam posting, "You're on YouTube. You're on YouTube." Check out my YouTube channel. There's only 10 people playing this game. All of you should be subbed to me. If you have time to play this game, you have time to sub to my OnlyFans.
Oh god, this shit again.
That is fucking great.
Okay, I'm now upset, but let's be upset about something thematic. You guys heard about the Beastmen meta? Dead.
Oh no.
What is this?
It's dead. Corpse. It's dead. Shut up, Thule. Nobody.
The Beastmen meta is take Minotaurs and nothing else.
Guys, do you hear that?
Oh no! Have you heard of the Doom stack for the Beastmen?
Listen, be quiet, Quinn. Listen. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the Beastmen. They're all dead. All of them.
I don't know.
Have you heard of the High Elves?
Do you know what message shows up in my campaign every 10 turns like clockwork?
Another
the Beastmen faction has been destroyed.
Yeah, just the war herd cometh.
The
2 turns later,
calculations are based almost entirely on armor value. I wonder if the faction with no armor suffering.
They come from the dark woods, from the pits and the depths, and you just see Kazrak dragging his bifurcated corpse across the floor. A crumb of victory. Just
the best fucking thing, like I've had as far as Beastmen and Orcs are fucking involved. Like the Beastmen spawn next to the fucking Outdorf, right where the border princes are. And the fucking advisor did his dialogue because I'm too lazy to turn him off. And, he's like, "Behold, the beast herd comes." And then Outdorf spontaneously had a fucking rebellion and spawned a fucking rebel army. And they just casually fucking decapitated the Beastmen. They just fucking murdered them. And then they wandered off immediately. Like, what's this then? Oi, what's this then, eh?
My
it's
liege,
almost harvesting season.
My liege, the Empire has dispatched a force they find suitable to destroy you. And it's just Karl Franz alone in a bathrobe, just holding like a fucking toilet brush, and he kills everyone. Just walks over to Kazak being like,
"Oh, this Galmaraz.
Going to cry, Beastman? Going to piss your pants? Maybe sit and come?" And he just takes the toilet brush, puts it into his ass, and scrubs him to death.
God fucking damn it.
And it's not even a real Carl, it's the fucking Carl edit where he's Carl from the Aquatine Hunger Force. God, I love that one.
It's just Carl's fat cousin in a bathrobe just shows up and just casually destroys the entire invasion.
I have a fucking story about rebellions. Have you ever seen that? Have you guys ever seen that episode of SpongeBob with the sea bear?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Yeah, where it's like Darth Plagueis the Wise. Thank you. You fucking asshole. I'm gonna derail your derailment in the middle of derailing the derailment.
I don't even know who's driving the train anymore.
It's that scene from Anchorman. It's on autopilot, guys. I think Crow's Control was not autopilot. No. Call his neighbors. I want him to see this.
Call the Bretonians. I want him to see
this. Neighbor Carl.
No.
The
Summon the electric counts. I want them to see this.
I just want to fucking reveal where Carl finally takes off his fucking helmet and it's just Carl's hair. He just got a fucking hair.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
I want them to see this.
The best part about that drawing is the fact that he's still wearing sandals without
socks. Yeah, he still got the sandals on. Okay. I guess it's over. Fuck. No, it's rebellions. So the sea bear, that episode of SpongeBob, there's like the bear attack, and they're like, we have to make the bear circle. And if they step outside of it, the bear attacks them. But if like they step inside, the bear comes up and it like starts to attack, and then it looks at the circle, and it waves its finger at him, and then leaves. I had a city on the northern end of Lustria that I took, and then it kept getting attacked by Krokgar. But it attacked at clockwork. Literally every single time I had rebuilt the defenses, Krokgar would come back out of the fucking like fog of war and sack it again, and then fuck off back to the fog of war. So it's just like, maybe I shouldn't rebuild it. And I didn't rebuild it for like 20 turns, and a rebellion started because the social unrest was so high. And then as soon as the rebellion starts, this vampire lord comes out and is like, blah, 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 I'm gonna take your city. Like, it's a vampire rebellion. He's got all these crypt ghouls. He's got a Vargeist. Like, all this bullshit. And then Krokgar steams out of the jungle and kicks his ass. And then stares at the city for 2 turns and then leaves again because it wasn't done repairing. So I'm just
amazing.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Fucking Lustria. Just fucking Lustria.
And then, like, what worse was later on, I found out, like, the reason why Krokgar was on Lustria in the first place and Tic-Tac-Toe was on Lustria in the first place. And they had all confederated, but they were all on the same continent. I went over to look at the Southlands, and every single city was in ruins except for like Mount Arachnos, which still had like the savage orcs there. Every other city was in ruins. And I was like, the fuck? And then I realized every single Skaven had confederated with Clan Eshin, and Clan Eshin was my only ally, so I was like, I'm not going to the Southlands. That looks like a bad idea. So I invaded Ulthuan instead.
That is fucking great. And
the
also,
rats are here, they're invisible.
Why the fuck is Clan Eshin so friendly every single game? It doesn't matter what faction I pick, they just really fucking like me.
I think it's because they're supposed to be the most mercenary of the ones, because their whole shtick is they go around stabbing everybody for money.
They have the Japanese tourist industry trait, which makes them impartial until you behave impolitely.
Oh, also, fucking Tomb Kings. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the Tomb Kings just like you if you're on top of the ladder. If you have great power, where everyone else it's a negative modifier, they just fucking like you. Like Citrus just sitting in his fucking palace being like, yo, that's some cool shit you're doing over there. Good job,
I appreciate that you're also a baller like myself.
I see you ball. I ball myself on occasion, you know.
It's just that fucking TG thread about the Lich that shows up in the small town. He's like, I've not come to make undead servants. I've come to jam. And he throws off his robes and pulls out a basketball. Now you're imagining Cetra and fucking like Krokgar like playing basketball.
I thought you came to destroy us. I did. Pulls out basketball. I will destroy your dignity and go home.
I came here to jam.
I've seen moves like this only once before, and then the blackest Tomb King of them all arrives.
Cetra does not shoot. Cetra jams. Cetra does not shoot. Cetra dogs.
Cetra does not dribble. Cetra shoots. 2 points.
I mean, Cetra was the strongest man in history in fantasy, remember?
It's true.
He was inexplicably strength 6 without his weapons or war gear, so it's like, wait a second.
He used it to pick up chicks.
And his entire chariot.
I've got a boner to pick with you.
God.
I apologize. Can we talk about something I've wanted to talk about for a while, but we haven't had the hype to really discuss?
Oh my god.
What
more pony shit, no.
No, what the fuck? No, Jesus. I was going to talk about Durthu's Holocaust campaign that happens literally every single campaign.
And then 20 turns in, Durthu declared,
have you
Lebensraum.
Imagine you're sitting around being your advisor comes along and he's like, my liege, your armies, they're getting powerful. We're becoming like a power of some notoriety. And you just sit there and just, do you have the sound of a tree? And you turn around, fucking Durthu is there and he's like, hey, you know, you ain't such shit. And then he goes home. Then 20 minutes later, he comes back and he's like, you're a real piece of shit, you know that? Fuck you. Then he leaves again. And then he comes back with like 6 other trees. And he's like, I just want you to know, I don't respect you. He leaves for the 3rd time. But the next time he comes back, he comes with the whole fucking forest. And he's going to burn your entire city to the fucking ground. He's going to dunk on you, look at your broken body, shake his head, and go like, you are a fucking Untermensch, and I'm going to go to Norska and do this to Archaon.
You're fucking spooking me here. You're fucking scaring me because my latest fucking interaction with Durthu is that he randomly showed up in my fucking modern realm of magic as dwarves. He pillaged one of my provinces and just left.
I have never That's all he does.
Spoken to him.
He shows up, he destroys one of your settlements, and he's like, my work here is done. He flips his cape, and he goes
I love
home.
the idea of him attacking dwarves even better, just because the dwarves are like the one thing we fear. Trees.
The forest came back.
Like he didn't even fucking pillage a city. He just showed up, raided like a little patch of land, and just fucked off before I could even do anything. Like no fucking prompt, no nothing.
Shit, I'm the fucking anomaly in this one. Because the only time I've ever encountered him in any of my campaigns, he just offers me an alliance out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, actually, I've had that happen to me, but the worst thing was it happened to me when I was playing Archaon.
He's offered me alliances as every single Tomb King Lord, as Lizardmen, as Orcs, as Chaos. He just fucking offers it to me no matter what.
I think if you never invade Aethel Loren, he loves you if you destroy the rest of the world, because he's like, I want to destroy the rest of the world too. That's cool.
But I'm stuck here in this fucking garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same as him, except I've had him take over all of Bretonia before.
I took over the World Tree as Khalida, and he offered me an alliance.
Well, like, I had that happen because I played a Norska campaign where I found out the easiest way to run a Norska campaign is actually not to fuck with the Empire or Kislev, but it's to, like, you confederate all the Norska, and then you immediately attack the Bretonian coast. And the Bretonians are like, oh shit, what do we do? Oh god, what do we do? Oh god! And then they die because they're French.
Can I tell you guys about the coolest thing?
There.
Can I tell you guys about the coolest thing that ever happened with the Wood Elves in any campaign I've ever run? Yeah. I was playing as the Empire, and as I always do, I was in Norska because I love beating the shit out of Norskans. And the Chaos invasion finally happened. I went out and I faced down Archaon and his Beast Boys. I scattered the armies, right? But Archaon fucked off north, and I was walking down south towards Kislev. And I see Durthu with his full fucking doom stack. He walks past me. Then on the next round, he goes into diplomacy, and he basically says, you're a piece of shit. Then he closes negotiations. Then on the next turn, he goes further north. He just fucks off into the Fog of War, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. 2 turns later, I see the notification. The Chaos armies have been turned back, but they will return. I look at the victory screen, and one of the conditions Archaon must be defeated has been completed. Durthu just fucking... he just fucking hip thrusted his way north. He was like, hey, you're a piece of shit. Then he just keeps walking. He just dunks his tree sack on top of Archaon, and then I never see him again. I'm in awe at the size of this tree. The magnitude of these T testicles.
Archeon sitting outside his fucking castrate being like, Durfu, you've come to save your doomed world. And Durfu's just like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. You just beat him and leave.
I don't even know who the fuck I am.
I don't even know where we are. There's no trees, steps on
I'm
Archeon.
taking so much peyote, I don't even know if this is real.
But, so, speaking of tree people, going back to where we started this with predictions, I was talking with Alex, and he said he wanted to do the bitch and the bull of Tarox and Ariel. I pointed out Ariel was a character for Wood Elves, but like she was never had rules, and then she got folded into Alariel before Alariel got revamped. So like they can't really do that because she would just be a clone of Alariel, but for Wood Elves, which is gay. So I said, obviously they're gonna either add the Sisters of Twilight or fucking Drycha. And Drycha, and like if they do more Wood Elf shit, and Drycha is like she's a dryad like tree spirit who's the most racist fucking character in Warhammer Fantasy. She is more tree Hitler than Durthu. So I was like yes, if they do a last Lord pack before 3, I'm betting it'll be like Tarox versus fucking Throt the Unclean, like it'll be Skaven versus Beastmen. And then
in
the free
a
DLC
that I titled
and the free DLC
that
award
one Hulk and Black Widow gif.
Yeah, and then the free LC lore will be Drycha, who's in the heart of the jungle, just being like, I hate lizards, get off of Africa, and like trying to grow everything.
Trying to bring agriculture to the heart of the African continent.
I don't know if it was 8th edition or Age of Sigmar where they finally gave her a model, but like her model was horrifying because it's like she's like an ordinary dryad, but she's got power armor made out of another tree that's like huge.
Wait, what?
And she's got missile systems, but they're not missiles, they're beehives. And she literally she is so evil. She throws hornets at you. She's just like, and then I hit them with more bees.
That is not
the
good.
peas.
African murder bee cannons.
That is not fucking good at all. Holy shit.
The goal is not to kill the enemy, but to scare him
that
into
is her.
submission.
Like, look at her. Look at her model. Literally, look at all these bees.
Too many bees.
Jesus Christ.
Like bees.
Just imagine being the fucking Empire pikeman that has to like fuck with that. You're just like, oh Sigmar, oh fuck, oh Sigmar, oh shit.
Not the bees.
Yes, the Empire Pikeman, the man shit on by literally every faction in the game constantly. Every single time they had box art for a fucking... Like, every time they had box art for a new set, it's always like some Empire Pikeman or Empire Swordsman being eaten by the latest monster. It's like, look, it's orcs and goblins, and it's an orc unit just smashing some Empire guys. Look, it's zombies. It's Vampire Count zombies. Zombies eating some Empire guys. Chaos Warriors. It's Chaos Warriors just suplexing fucking Empire dudes that look like children in comparison.
What if they start doing that for the fucking Empire Lord models themselves? Like it's fucking Contrast, but he's just fucking eating an entire guard while the others watching on like horrified.
That'd be a great way to market their faction. I just feel bad. It's like Empire in old fantasy. It was weird because they were like they were kind of the face of the game, but they weren't popular enough to be the face of the game. Like they were like it would be like if GW was like, yes, the face of our game is the Blood Angels, but we're going to continually update the Ultramarines, right? And like the face of the game was the Empire, but the Empire was not like overpowered or like over updated or anything. And so like even though they were the face of the game, all the box art was always them getting their ass kicked, and then all the box art for them was just them firing things off screen that you never saw. So you're just like, what are they? Who are they beating? Other Empire?
The fucking the image of Carl Franz.
Alariel got her ass kicked by the Scourge of Cain. This is great.
Oh, I still remember the day I made what's his name? What's the crocodile's name?
You gave Nakai the Sword of Cain. I remember this.
I remember the day I made Nakai more terrifying than the entirety of Lustria. And I just convinced Alariel that, hey, I can fuck with this lizard who has fucking string tied with strips this goddamn Sword of Cain to his hammer. Or I can flee into Lustria. And she was like, okay, the jungle it is. And she just ran away as Master Mundi was laughing at
I remember when I was a bad person. Because it was just after that DLC came out, and I ran a Norska campaign. I gave Throg the Sword of Cain.
Oh,
and the entirety, like all the high elves and all the dark elves, all at once said, "No, this is not acceptable," and united against me.
It's so funny because you swing once and you just devour a third of their HP.
Yeah. But I remember like the dumbest thing about Ulthuan is not just that they have that stupid fucking like, oh, only high elves can live here climate, but their climate also comes with like every time you own a city there, you get a diplomatic penalty with all 3 elf factions because they're like, how dare you be on Ulthuan, non-elf? And like even like the wood elves will be like, how dare you be there, even though they shouldn't give a shit. And like
back to the ghetto.
It sucks with Norska because Ulthuan's like high elves are overpowered and too much favored by the developers, so they keep fucking giving them like Ulthuan has like coastal settlements all up the ass. So even as Norska, you can take a shitload of Ulthuan cities because there's just so many of them are coastal settlements. So I'm sitting there and like the dark elves actually teamed up with the high elves to be like, get out of Ulthuan and give back the Sword of Cain, you animal. And Throg was just like, oh no.
I admire your spirit, but please get the fuck out of my yard.
Yeah. Oh, I love how Malekith, all of his diplomacy options are like every time all of his diplomacy lines are basically him being like, I like that you're also a complete douchebag, but our lines don't agree. like our goals do not align this time. However, we should stay friends. You know what? Because I like you, you piece of shit.
I hate snow. It's cold and indomitable.
Like he respects you. He like respects and dislikes you directly, like inversely proportional to how good you are as a person in that game. Like, God though, like his new units. Like, all right, so Clan Eshin's dumb. Like we know about this from Shadow and the Blade, but like. The new Dark Elf units are only the Bloodrack Shrine is disgusting, and it's only surpassed by all the disgusting shit High Elves got. Like their new made-up units they have. Like Rangers ain't shit, as we discussed, but like the Silver and Guard are horrible.
What the fuck did you just say?
I'm talking about High Elf Rangers.
You were never in the Rangers half. Chill.
No, but I'm friends with some really great ones.
Rangers, lead the way! Take our dual swords and defend the donut!
No, you gotta love it. They're just reskinned Black Ark Corsairs, but gayer.
They took our fucking Corsairs!
They don't get hand bows though, Alex, so they're useless.
Who the fuck uses hand bows? Shades can go fuck themselves. Look,
people like
listen. Shade units, they're all a bunch of CIA glow-in-the-dark Negroes. Get them out of here. I don't want them. All I want is my Black Ark Corsairs who can deploy their fucking nuclear submarine sea castle, okay? That's all I want.
Well, like, the new High Elf units, other than literally just Eltharion, all of them are, like, units they didn't have that CA made up specifically for this game. The Arcane Phoenix is bullshit. The High Elf Rangers, they're just bootleg Black Ark Corsairs that aren't as good. And then they have a unit called the Silver and Guard, which are disgusting because they're better spearmen. They're better spearmen. They're not Lothern Sea Guard, but they're better spearmen. But they have expert shield defense, expert charge defense instead of the normal one. And then they also have. They have a thing called their silver and armor is magical, right? So they have 30% magic resistance.
That's fucking bullshit. Fuck off.
Say hello to the new Lord Pack for the High Elf. Have magic birds, anime girls, the entirety of the U.S. Air Force. Fucking shot of the dragons showing up with Imric just laughing.
Yeah, no, the only units they added that are canonically things that were in fantasy is Eltharion and the Archmages.
No, the U.S. Air Force estimate is fucking accurate because if you remember the end times, they just turned the High Elves into America and gave them an ass load of aircraft carriers.
Oh god, the fucking
What the fuck do they even fly? Do they have elf planes?
They fly
or
fucking
dragons?
eagles. It's
They have
fucking
eagles.
shitting me.
They have
dragons.
two different types of phoenixes, and unlike most of the dragons in the world are owned by the elves.
Yeah, owned. Fucking slave drivers.
Not partners with, owned.
Yeah, they say that they're partners, but really we know that they own them.
Yeah,
it's
no.
Shadowrun, but the other way around.
If we were business partners and we went to lunch and I was like, man, I'm tired, and I just jumped on your back and said, carry me back to the office, would you consider us partners, or would you think I'm taking advantage of the situation?
First of all, I'd fucking suplex you. Okay?
Yeah, because I don't own you.
Yeah. What if all the dragons are just like subs?
Probably.
They're just like these fucking submissive dragons being like, "Oh, Alariel promised to give us back rubs if we just carry all these simps she has into battle."
Probably. I mean, dragons, like every other race other than high elves that have them, they're all slaves to that race. Like, the Empire only has 2 dragons. One of them is like quasi canon too.
And the other hangs around the zoo until Call
the other
is like,
one
"Babe, it's 4 p.m. Time to rule the Empire.
Time to drink your salt water.
Time to summon the elector counts." And the dragon's like,
Fuck off with your saltwater shit.
Yes, babe.
No, the dragon's like, and then Carl's like, you know what? I'm gonna ride Deathclaw into battle anyway. Deathclaw is my best friend. Come on, Deathclaw, let's hang out. And Deathclaw's like, yeah, squawk.
Alex, don't you fucking dare.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I was thinking it, but I'm not gonna. I still like the idea that the industrial heartland of the Empire in Nuln is still run by this fucking vampire, but nobody gives a shit so long as he keeps producing like gunpowder and toilet paper and sending it to other provinces that need them.
Yeah,
20% of the Imperial budget is still like feed pics.
I wonder if they would actually add. I'm trying to remember. It's like Katrina something, and she's the leader of like the death mages, like all the lore of death.
The amethyst mages, yeah.
Yeah.
Something
and
else.
She's got the
or something.
She's got the Carmine dragon.
And
like
it's pretty sexy.
Yeah. Elspeth von Draken, you're right, that's the one. And she's like the only other dragon in the Empire is hers. But she's a fucking Forge World character, so it's like it's
canon. My criteria for it being canon is that it doesn't interfere and that it's cool.
Yeah. But that's that. And then like all the other dragons and throughout it's like black dragons are like the fucking slaves of the dark elves that are like specially enchanted and shit.
So
chaos dragons are fucking crazy, but of course the game doesn't go into why the game doesn't make chaos dragons good, just like they don't make chaos anything good.
Do you think we'll get Von
Horstman? Probably.
God, damn it, Zeke. I'm so tired of your accurate complaining about chaos getting nerfed.
You're being vitrolic and you're being like go watch text to speech, okay? It's a parody. Fuck.
Oh my god. Don't you love that I can see the future and the future is always shit?
Let me just put on my nightmare goggles. Oh, everything looks just the same.
Everything looks the same. Nah, like I'm hoping they add Chaos Dwarfs for the third game, and like
they definitely will.
I want to play Chaos Dwarves.
Tiny Mesopotamian gremlins.
They are going to probably be the most broken faction in Total Warhammer. Like they are ridiculous because they like Alex. They literally will build a train out of artillery pieces.
I know. I know, Seem. I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
That
like the literal.
Oh yeah. Let's take Black Orcs.
Hey, Beastmen, I know you guys want like Doom Bull, but consider the following: giant Minotaur statue, the fucking Iron Bull over here, just running in, being screaming with the furnace roar and being like, "Hey guys, welcome to my live stream where I destroy the entirety of civilization."
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna be good. And Ogre Kingdoms.
Ogre Kingdoms will probably train wreck people.
I just
Like,
want
Ogre
to do
Kingdoms-
demons properly.
Their cavalry their cavalry has the same silhouette as a combine harvester. They're just larger.
Yeah, because
it's gonna be terrifying.
Yeah, because their cavalry is super heavy cavalry. Because their whole thing is like they're already ogres, so they're all monstrous infantry. And then it's like, so what does that mean for their cavalry? Well, it means their cavalry are to like their cavalry are to fucking like light cav what heavy cav are to infantry. It's fucking disgusting. Like, they have 3 different varieties of cavalry, and they're all terrifying. They have more. It's like what? Mornfang cavalry, Rhinox riders, and like the I'm trying to remember. One of them's woolly rhinos, one of them's saber-tooth tigers, and one of them is giant like wolf.
It's Panzer IV commanders.
No, they have
they
have a tank though. They do have basically what is a tank. They have all right. So is it the stone horn or is it the thunder tusk thing? I'm trying to remember. They have a giant monster that's basically like a Tibetan fucking like woolly mammoth tiger thing. That's a huge and they ride on, but it can take a thing called an iron blaster and it's a giant fucking cannon, and it moves and fires the cannon and then charges you into combat.
It would be easier to find these things if they didn't have the most generic fucking fantasy names ever made.
I mean, that's the whole point, though, is they have generic fantasy names. Like, the thing is, though, is they only have 3 special characters, or they only ever had like 3 or 4 special characters, and it's like they probably will have to add more than that later on.
They have Goldtooth, the enormous. They have Bellyman, the huge, and they have Wings of Redemption.
No, they Jesus. They have Scarce. Scarce is overweight. They have Grease's Goldtooth, who's like, he's just the big king man, and then Scrag the Slaughter, who's the big wizard man, and then Golfag Maneater, who's like, he's cool.
I eat people.
And then Brag the Gutsman, who's like, I beat up things.
I hope we get like mercenary ogre units with the third game.
I hope that they add ogres to all the other armies, because that's really what they're there for.
Before they dumped Vampire Coast on us, there was serious deliberations if they were working on the Dogs of War.
Yeah. I mean, I could see them adding Dogs of War in the last game as like because they probably tested it out with how Gortrek and Felix worked, where they're a mercenary army that you can hire. So they might do that, but like
and the rogue armies.
Yeah, and the rogue armies. The thing is, though, is at Dogs of War, it's like if you run a nothing but a Dogs of War army, it'll look like a rogue army. But really, what Dogs of War are supposed to be like is that you get special regiments of renown that you attach to other armies, unlike you hire on a case-by-case basis.
One of the things CA deserves credit for is constantly testing for the future. I will give them that.
Yeah.
Even if they're like, we got to test so we can milk more money out of these people.
Oh, no, they're 100% testing to milk more money out of you, but at least they're testing.
Yeah, and it does get stabilized once the initial profit period is done with. Like, they nerf stuff after they've gotten all the purchases they can.
Except for High Elves, they refuse to nerf them.
I don't know what's going on with High Elves.
That's not a corporate thing. That's a couple individuals who are like.
I'm absolutely sure the vast majority of the CA devs that play Warhammer or played Warhammer are just High Elf players. Like because like High Elf players are what ruined the fucking previous game.
I remember that the Empire got a lot of favoritism in the first game along with the Vampire Counts, but like the High Elves are
that might have been
the face of Total Warhammer 2, which might mean that this winners out when the third game comes out, because they're no longer the face of the title.
The face of the third game is the ogres or something for some reason.
God. I wanted to be the demons. I want my demon waifu.
Demon armies.
Demons are broken. Demons have been broken.
I don't care, Zim. I want them to be broken.
Yeah. Well, demons are broken for like several reasons.
Broken, but they're gonna be DLC.
Oh, god damn
Shut
it!
Up. Don't do this to me.
I don't even want demons themselves. I want the demon units that are like for Warriors of Chaos. I want Skull Crushers to fucking. I want to see fear in Vampire Count's eyes when I unsheath my Skull Crushers.
Explain something to me. How do you crush blood?
I don't know. Bloodletters
Ever
are
heard
retarded.
of a fucking juicer, you savage?
The fucking corn warriors comes along with you with like a heavy industrial mixer, being like, "Get in the fucking bowl, mortal."
No,
This juicer cost me 80,000
it's not a juicer, it's a chain hammer.
I mean, they literally
Fuck
have
you
that,
and your
though,
chain
remember?
hammer.
I
The
know.
the skull chariot is literally that, where it's like, oh look, the blood crushers left a lot of blood on the ground. Good thing I can turn it into ammunition for my fucking
Didn't
flamethrower.
they have a model you could buy for 40k or fantasy for Chaos Demons?
Yes, almost all the Chaos Demons.
No. It was a vehicle, though.
Yeah, that was the most broken thing. It was was it the skull chariot or called the blood cauldron? It was whatever it was.
No, it wasn't
40K.
even that. It was a defiler with a demon upper body.
Oh, the soul grinder. Yeah, I can't wait till they get
yeah.
the soul grinder in the game. Then people will be like, what the fuck is this?
I can't wait until they put a fucking defiler in Warhammer Fantasy.
It's just horrible.
It's gonna be
wait until they
terrifying.
add the
Alex,
3,500 polygon glistening cock of a bloodthirster.
Yeah, Alex, they have it would be a defiler in fantasy. It has a machine gun. It literally
straight up.
Yes. One hand is a power fist or a sword, and the other hand is a machine gun. And then its actual strongest range attack is it's spitting at you. Or hitting you with its tongue.
It's the goddamn lineup where everyone is introducing themselves. Like, we are the grace of the Asa. We are the wrath of Nagaroth. We are the might of the Empire. And the demons is like, I have a Browning M2. And everyone just stares at him in shock and while he loads it up.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then like I'm serious though. The machine gun wasn't even its worst ranged attack. Its worst ranged attack was it fires its tongue out of its demon mouth at you and it hits like a fucking cannon.
Jesus Christ.
He means worse for the other player, by the way, just for clarity.
Huh?
He means worse for the other player, not the demon player.
Well, it was hilarious because so you could take an upgrade for its mouth. And it's so it came with the machine gun hand, but then it's mouth weapon you had to pay points for in 40k or fantasy. And it was one of these three things where it was bile, phlegm, or tongue. And you're like, what? Ugh. And it's the bile is it gives it a flamer template where it vomits on you. And then it's a fucking breath attack. The phlegm was an artillery barrage, it was a mortar where it just hawks a loogie across the field and you get splattered and it gives you a status debuff. And the tongue was it just shoots its tongue out and punches it. And in 40k it flipped tanks with its tongue. It was retarded. It would shoot out and flip the tank over.
This sounds hilarious on it.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the soul grinder and then there's the fucking blood cauldron, which is going to be disgusting in fantasy. Because it's a magic chariot manned by bloodletters that's also a cannon and a flamethrower. It's a magic cannon. It's a cannon with magical attacks, Alex.
I want to go home.
What's the fucking cannon you told me about? It's Thomas the fucking tank engine.
Hell cannons?
Yeah,
Thomas
I want that to be a fucking thing.
Once again, the thing that Total Warhammer fucked up was the Hell Cannon is the most dangerous artillery piece in fantasy, bar none. Because for a simple reason, it's a good magical artillery piece. It's not better than a lot of stuff. It's not worse than a lot of things. It's just good, but it's also magical and has a special misfire table. But the thing that makes it different than all other artillery pieces is that if its crew dies, it just goes nuts and runs over things like it's a train. But it still has the toughness and armor save of an artillery piece. So you can't, most infantry units can't actually hurt it.
That is fucking insane.
Literally, it was impossible in the tabletop for Empire swordsmen or dwarf longbeards or something to physically harm a hell cannon if they got charged.
Imagine you're a British infantryman and you're just charging to get rid of German artillery. You kill the crew, and the howitzer just turns to you and goes, "Du hast fucked up, mein Freund," and it just runs you over continuously. Yes. And you can't kill it because you can't stab it to death. It's made of metal.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is
it also occasionally stops to vor one of you, and then just spread out your boiling blood across the field.
Yeah, well, it was hilarious. Was this miscast table where it's it had a chance on the miscast table that it would just eat its crew, And like that's just like, oh no, it's gonna eat a crew and then it's gonna attack us. Oh fuck! And then it's like it had a chance where instead of firing a normal shot, it fires a shot at the moon and it causes everybody to fucking like every wizard on the board would miscast immediately, regardless of whose turn it was. And then it had one where it fired all of its ammunition in a single shot, so everything on the template was hit with max strength.
Zim.
Yeah.
Also,
my fucking super blood projectile! But I'm not gonna shoot at the earth, I'm gonna go higher! I'm shooting at the moon!
I'm gonna piss on the moon!
How do you like that, idiot?
Yeah,
fucking cast Dwarf man.
No, dude, that's literally Icket Claw during the end times, though. Is like, and then Archaon pulled out his dick and was like, "It was this big," and I said it was disgusting. And he pissed, and then he pissed on my wife. So guess what, Archaon? I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna piss on the moon. Blows up more sleeve.
What the fuck is even up with more sleep? Is it the rat? Is it the big fucking rat up there?
It's a gigantic rock of it's a gigantic
magic
chunk of
uranium.
stone.
It is uranium moon.
Yeah, it is the entirety of more sleeve is made out of warpstone, Cobra. That's not even bullshit. It doesn't glow green because of some weird like celestial effect. It glows green because it's actually radioactive.
If you don't stare at the moon, son, you'll get cancer.
Go outside, look at the moon.
Magic mutant cancer that turns you into a rat, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole difference between Skaven and Beastmen, was like Beastmen are like weirdos in the forest that like got under the moon rays too long, so they started like turning into animals. Whereas Skaven were rats that stared at the moon and started turning into people.
They sent to that abyss and then they pulled their rat dicks out and the moon got uncomfortable and exploded.
So all in all, they're just kind of like, they're the same, just in opposite directions.
Yes and no. I mean, like, the propaganda in the Empire is that the Skaven don't exist and that the rat, and like, if you run into a rat man, it's just a Beastman. It's just a shittier Beastman, don't worry about it. And like, the higher-ups in the Empire are like, we can't let the people know that there's an empire of these things with machine guns living underneath them.
What's even their fucking origin story? Like a gray seer comes out of nowhere and raises...
No, it's like the Pied fucking Piper.
You know,
the doom of
Skavenblight? You know Skavenblight, right? That used to be a city of people. Then the bell rang a lot. Then everybody turned in, all the rats turned into people and killed everything.
No. You are skipping so much. The literal fucking Pied Piper showed up to a city and was like, hey, you want me to get rid of all of your rats? And they said, yeah, sure. Paid him a bunch of money. He let all the rats away and then came back for the rest of his payment. And they're like, no, go fuck yourself. So he summoned a fucking warpstone that crashed into the city and fucking turned everyone into Skaven.
But what about the fucking bell?
It rang 13 times. 13 terrible times. And doom fell over Kavsar.
Yep.
The best thing about the reveal trailer for the Skaven is that the bell you can hear in the background, it tolls 13 times. And by the end of it, the Skaven charged forth.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait to see people shit a brick over Storm Fiends.
That's gonna be funny.
I don't want to deal with electrical rat tanks running out of the sewers and fighting me with their giant electro guns.
I just had my first fight where the AI was actually smart enough to build the fucking warp lightning cannon, and holy shit. This is fucking insane. The
warp lightning cannons make me sad because they're reliable. And that's stupid because the warp lightning cannon in fantasy was a dumb piece of shit, and everyone took it for the reason it was a dumb piece of shit.
I hate fighting the Skaven. 2 lines of my army just like cleanly scorched everyone in a green fucking goo. It was fucking awful.
Yeah. What was Quinn saying?
I said I hate fighting the Skaven the most of the Tomb Kings. Goddamn them you out of nowhere.
You gotta love that the Skaven were responsible for the assassination of Nagash.
We had so many instances. We had so many instances of just, all right, we're going along, doing our thing. Skaven out of nowhere. All right, Skaven are gone. Oh no, wait, there they are again.
Yeah, like that's how they do. Like the assassination of Nagash being them technically was hilarious, and then also Storm of Chaos, where like the Empire basically had the second coming of Christ. Like Voltan, the avatar of Sigmar, came back for the Storm of Chaos, and then after Storm of Chaos was over, he was like, "And now I will go back to my farm and rest." And everyone was like, "Thanks, Jesus. Sigmar. We'll call you back when we need you." And he's like, "Sure thing, fam. I am the best." And then he went to bed, and Deathmaster Snicket stabbed him to death.
That's fucking great.
Deathmaster Snicket assassinated God for no reason other than just because the Skaven were like, "We can't let this threat exist. Send in the Deathmaster."
I love the idea that the greatest threat to ever come to Warhammer Fantasy was like, I will destroy everything and make it my own, but then a bunch of rats were like, no.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's what happened during the end times, was like, Archaon is like, chaos will finally consume the world. And then every other faction was like, all right, we got to activate our own doomsday shit to stop this from happening. And and the Skaven's doomsday thing was like, we got to summon the horned rat. And then they got vermin lords. And everyone shit a brick.
Oh,
Also,
the
they
Vermin
blew up
Lords
the
look so
moon.
fucking good.
Yeah, no, they brought
I
the
love
moon
those
down
movies.
and then they blew it up.
I
They
have not
flipped
seen
Majora's
Vermin
Mask and then
Lords.
blew it up at the 11th hour.
I have not seen the Skaven Vermin Lords. What are these?
They're so fucking cool.
So you know what a bloodthirster is, right? And a keeper of
Yeah,
secrets.
obviously, yeah.
The Vermin Lord is they're greater demons of the Horned Rat, basically. And like they come in 4 varieties, and they're all like there's one that's like, they're basically Skaven lords, but super powerful. So there's one that's like a tech boy, there's one that's a wizard boy, there's one that's a warlord boy, and there's one that's like a ninja boy.
And then
the Ninja
models
Boy
look
was made by-
incredible.
Yeah, and the Ninja Boy was made by
fucking
Forge World.
nifty.
Yeah. But they're still like greater demons, so they're huge monsters. But they're also like generals and fantastic in combat and stuff.
I love
they're
the fucking
giant, scary.
stupid. I love the stupid Clan Ashen Vermin Lord who just has this enormous throwing style. Like, who the fuck are you gonna assassinate a Bman?
No. The way that worked,
you nigga.
The way that worked in fantasy was it came back, so it counted as an artillery piece. Like it was like a bolt thrower, ridiculous. But it moved in an arc. So the way fantasy was is that you had 3 artillery pieces and everything else was built on that template. So it was either like a stone thrower that's like a catapult, a bolt thrower that's like a ballista, or a cannon. And like the bolt throwers, like, so stone throwers was like you put an artillery template down, and like the center of the artillery template was the max damage, and then everything under that was half of its strength. So it was like, oh, it can hurt a lot of things depending on its strength, or it can just not. Cannonball was like always max strength, but it only hit like certain things in a line. And then a bolt thrower did the same thing, but it lost strength in that line. But bolt throwers could be fired faster. So if you fired a bolt thrower at a rank, you had to draw a line through like ranked infantry and see how many ranks it hit and how many guys it would take out. And then like the way that star thing worked, I think, was like you basically drew a fucking arc, and it would arc through the unit and come back.
That is ridiculous shit.
Like the entire thing behind that dude with the throwing star is essentially he gets a pop-up when he enters the battle. Stealth is optional for this mission.
Yeah. Actually the best thing was so throwing weapons were really weird, right? Like throwing weapons, most of them were based on the user strength, or like it was like user strength plus this or whatever. I think it was like throwing axes were like user strength plus 1. So throwing axes were really strong because like at a +1 for a marauder, it would pierce armor at strength 4.
Right.
And then throwing spears were like a longer range, but they didn't give you a strength bonus. Fucking throwing Skaven assassins and Dark Elf assassins had throwing stars. Dark Elf assassins specifically had a magic item that was called Kainite Shuriken or something like that, like Kainite throwing stars. And the thing about them was that they were like user strength +1 because they were magical throwing stars of the Cult of Cain. And Dark Elf assassins were already strong because they were like trained from birth to be assassins and weirdos. What you could do was you could take a potion of strength on your Kainite assassins for Dark Elves, so his throwing stars would be thrown at the strength of a fucking cannonball, And like the way the rules worked for war machines and stuff was like if you killed a war machine, the crew couldn't take cover behind it. Or specifically, if you killed a chariot, if like the chariot would have a toughness value, and if the chariot was destroyed by an attack, the whole crew would die because the chariot would explode beneath them and they would face plant. So you could have an assassin pop it, like just do coke, like just show up out of behind you, pop his strength potion, and then throw his Kanite like shuriken, like, oh, my Rasengan, and it would blow up Cetra's chariots or like Gorby's chariots or something, and the whole crew would be like, oh god, and then hit the ground and die.
Sir, I have a new assassin for you. What's his name? Railgun?
Yes. The funniest story I ever heard about this was a mutual friend of mine and Half's from our old war game group that fought another guy we both knew, who he was half the guy he fought. We're talking about my old neighbor, and the guy he fought was the dude who ran Dwarfs in Tau. You know who I'm talking about now?
No. Was
No?
he the guy that fled up north for Bapoon?
No, they're both still here.
I'm lost.
Anyway,
Well, keep going.
one of them played dwarves, the other one played dark elves. The dwarf player, like they were playing a 500-point game, so a really small skirmish. And the dwarf player, because he was a power gamer, brought an organ gun and 500 points. Like a complete asshole. So he showed up with an organ gun, so the dark elf player was like, you know what, you're going to be like this, then I know what I'm going to do. So he brought Shadowblade, the special character dark elf assassin. And Shadowblade took the shuriken and the potion. And then proceeded to kill his entire army with throwing stars.
That is fucking.
That's
just dirty. That is just
You fucking at that point you deserve it though. Like
he yeeted the throwing stars at the organ gun on like turn 3, and it blew up the organ gun. The dwarfs are like, what?
It just shares through the barrels of the cannons.
Yeah, just literally made him like he literally showed up and was like, I brought a Gatling gun against the savages, and then the dark elf player was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make you live in an anime then.
Welcome to anime realm. They stare at the dude through the stars, just T-posing and hip thrusting. Like, what are you gonna do, faggot? Walk? I don't think so.
God. Well, all right, Cobra. Let's go down the line. Cobra, tell me about your hopes for the future of Total War, and then what you actually think will happen.
What I would fucking like is actual variety in fucking siege maps, because it's the same fucking map all over again.
Apparently, they're revamping that for the third game.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And
The
I hope they
Siege
revamp
of,
that in diplomacy.
The Siege of Thule is essentially a blueprint for what they might be making sieges into. Open maps with bigger layouts, they're wider and shit like that. They have more height variety and stuff like that. They also have Imperial Forts, which are a good sign, but they only did that for the fort maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want fucking Chaos Dwarfs, obviously. I hope they're a fucking thing instead of just
I want to see a Kadai destroyer make millions of children ass mad.
I want fucking Araby, and I want fucking Dwarfs. They're probably not going to do Araby, because holy shit, it will not run in 220, but still. Still.
An April 1st DLC prank where they release a free Nippon faction, but it's just straight up like Clan Oda from Total War Shogun 2.
That would be amazing, though. It's just like, and then the Japanese conquered the world with Yari Ashigaru.
The same models, like no updates, same voice lines, same animations, no updates whatsoever. They just fucking ported it directly over.
No. Even better is like they add the gun samurai, and then somebody, because it's the same thing, they just fucking make a mod that reskins them to be U.S. Marines from the Fall of the Samurai.
Oh no!
Behold, the scariest unit ever added in Total War.
We seem to be winning the battle, my lord.
Much dishonor. Ooh.
Fucking the Japanese voice lines by themselves were hilarious, but I love the fact when you were playing Fall of the Samurai, they added like American advisor voiceovers. And all of them were basically like, yeah, we showed those bastards what for, didn't we, my liege?
Imagine if they had the same voice acting for it, but then they also had to deal with Clanessian, so it's just a bunch of rats trying to out fucking like the Japanese.
I fucking hate the way the Warden's cage works. It's like
Batman.
this ability that Eltharion gets. You immobilize an enemy lord or hero for a bit, and they take massive debuffs to melee. But like, if they don't die within the effect of it, then you don't get them in your fucking CBT dungeon.
It's weird.
It's fucking insanely hard to time because like he died 1 second after it was over.
Well, what's stupid about it is if you win with them and you take them to the CBT dungeon, and then you torture them, you get a racial army ability for all of your fucking mist units. So you can get an army of mist units that are like, look, it's the high elves, but they're more magical now, and then they get to orc wog at you. So you're like, wait, what?
We found the remains of the soup.
It's just so fucking hard to get anybody in your CBT dungeon.
I love the fact that DLC also was like, and then we added new mechanics to Alariel's faction just cause. It was like, what? Yeah, they added new rights and new abilities to Alariel's faction with the update. So it's like, oh yes, of course, we need to buff Alariel while we're adding DLC for a different character.
Eltharion the Grim has unlocked a new legendary item, the Ball Stretcher.
Balls. Jesus. Tacos, what do you think? What are your hopes for the future, and what do you think will actually happen?
I want demons.
What kind of demons?
Tacos.
I want demons.
You want all the demons?
Tacos.
I want demons in the game.
I'm gonna get the fucking
garbage.
The Slaneshi Anteater demons with the dick.
Yeah, I want to see fear in kids' eyes when I unsheath my Hellstrider cavalry.
I want to see you download the Chaos Demon DLC for Slanesh, and I want to see the ESRB rating go up to 21 immediately.
Fucking amazing. What is
they
the
won't do that
rating right now? Like the game has gore explosions, so it's got to be 18, right?
No, it's
no, because they're fucking smart. They sold the Blood Pack DLC on its own.
Yeah, it's a DLC, so the whole thing stays rated T.
Yeah.
What happens if you don't fucking have it? They just take a fucking nap?
Yeah.
Yes.
They fall over like fat men.
No, that's the best thing, is like the gore DLC. It's like, oh, it's DLC to get around it, but we sold it to you twice and it's fucking $5. Or it's like,
Man, I bought that shit 4 times. I'm fucking
4 times?
fucking stupid.
I'm a fucking idiot.
Hey, guess what, motherfucker? I'm a moron.
How's it feel, Half?
To be a bitch.
To be a pay pig.
I am single-handedly ruining the gaming industry.
You're damn straight.
Look, boys, loot boxes, it's over. Our entire market is half skeleton. A dude in Louisiana.
Loot boxes? Oh my god. I would pay like an obscene amount for.
And then he started breaking up.
Constantly.
We're not even producing games anymore. We're just selling ketchup to this one dude.
Greg is not even in the cast. He activated his anti-DLC.
No, it's just Valve aggressively
powers.
silencing him. They can't know the truth about our business
My
model.
down and up speed are both rolling for me, downing so much fucking paid DLC.
Oh god, I'm gonna consume!
Alright, Half, hopes for the future, what you think will actually happen?
More blood DLC?
Obviously, more blood DLC.
Horse
No, my dream list is that they do ogres, chaos dwarves, and like maybe Cathay for 3, and then the pre-order pack is Araby and Tilia and Estalia combined because they're all mini factions. But I know they're gonna screw me on that.
I want to see Cathay and End way more than I want to see any other faction.
Cathay and End, they're going to be DLC because
other than Chaos Dwarves, Ogres, and Demons, obviously.
At least with Araby, they actually put out a book for Araby at one point.
Yeah, and Kislev, but also like those were White Dwarf codexes and everything.
They were, but they were still put out.
Yeah. You know, it's gonna be awful, Cobra. They're gonna do. They're gonna try and one up Bethesda on horse armor. They'll make a DLC to make the Chaos Knights horses bigger.
Oh god.
They'll make you pay for it.
I wish you were wrong.
The horse and beginner DLC.
Hey CA, I'm having a problem. I downloaded your horse fix DLC, but now my CPU can't handle the game anymore. What's going on? Oh, that's because we added testicle physics to each and every single horse in the chaos army. So they're like dangling, and the flesh is like humping back and forth. You're gonna have to get a better process.
It isn't optimized at all, you pony.
Alex,
fucker.
I don't know if you know this, but they actually did model horse testicles and cock.
Yeah,
on,
they did it for the fucking Chad horse. What was his name?
Yeah, for Drogar.
Drogar, that's
What's even more terrifying is you remember that Drogar's original model, Drogar himself, it's like it looks like a horse, but he's actually the size of a steam tank.
Yeah, he's huge.
I don't like that.
I mean,
Like that.
we might get Drogar testicle DLC based on the fact that when they released the Mammoth for Noska, they have pretty detailed buttholes. There is
sometimes I wish I could look. Sometimes I wish Nord.
Listen
Lord.
to me. I
Sometimes
know
I
these
could
opinions are extreme, but
My
the
God.
precedent is there.
Nord, sometimes I wish I could see how you think, and then you say something like that.
I'm just stating the truth, okay? That's all I.
Alex is the
You
guy
can't
who wants
handle the truth.
He wants them to do he wants the next Total War game to be Total War Kingdom Death.
No, I wanna get the fucking Slanesh DLC, and I just want to be the pictures from the MS Paint comics where the tits are coming through the screen. Like, look at those boobs.
Your truth is weird, and I hate it.
The butthole is there, fool. Go play Norska. The buttholes are there. You can blame me for it.
Look, boys.
You can't change the truth.
Look, boys. On this note, I gotta leave. This butthole talk is getting to me.
With that.
BRB, guys, I'm having an erection dysfunction.
I gotta go.
I need to
after
finish my
mentioning
8
this.
soundboard.
Finish without me.
Quinn,
Do
hopes
it
for
for
the
the
future and
buttholes.
actual expectations.
More
Actual
buttholes.
expectations, they screw us over. Well, maybe not as bad as others, but they still screw us over with the DLCs. Third one, you're going to have to pay for each individual lore.
That's
Yeah.
probably true. That is absolutely
Hope-
true.
I really hope they make the maps bigger and revamp cavalry so they're actually freaking useful.
Cavalry are useful, you fucking bellend.
Nah,
Have you
they're
not?
they're bad on any difficulty above normal. They take
No, they're not.
casualties as they dish out. Even if you hammer an anvil with them.
That's because you're not using the right cavalry combinations, man. You need to sit down and read this 500-page document on how to distinguish between shock cavalry and melee cavalry.
And then decide to say fuck it and run nothing but Demigriff Knights.
Okay,
Fucking Demigriff Knights.
Demigriff Knights are good. They're not cavalry, though. They're monstrous cavalry.
They are cav.
Shut up.
Jeff, I will not take lip from a fucking leaf, okay? The hour of the rake is upon
First of
me.
all, how dare you? Second of all, stop being accurate.
I have to go apply my rejuvenating tonic and oils. See you later.
And then I hope they don't completely make all of the first game's factions utterly useless when the third one comes in.
Again with this. Alex, hopes for the future and actual
Alright.
expectations.
Let's say that all of the rounds of DLC for Total Warhammer 3 is over, right? As a last-ditch effort, CA just comes along and goes, hey, you know, we had some time to kill. We figured out we might as well do this. They come out with like a DLC pack or free update or whatever, where they basically revamp all the minor factions. So what they do is they go in, they add alternate models for like the Southern Realms and shit like that, get in some voice actors to add like a Southern flair and shit, to give like more energy to all of the random bullshit factions, which are essentially just reskins of the main factions, right? Maybe add a few, like, not legendary lords, but like reskinned regular lords who look more in the equivalent of what they're supposed to. Like, each imperial province gets their electors back. with like the rune fangs and shit. You get Southern Realms. You get like the independent Sardoms of fuck's it called, Kislev and shit. You get like more soul to the Noskin tribes. You get like the Dwarven holds and shit. Get their own stuff. Give Krakadrak an Odin beard, shit like that. But if I'm going to be entirely honest, I'm going to say that we need to add more buttholes. I've also decided that Quinn has shown that we can't allow the Canadians to speak, so we're going to skip Thule and go directly to Zim. Zim, what are your Thule, what are your expectations and desires for Total Warhammer 3?
Desires definitely Chaos Dwarfs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I would like,
yes.
Yeah, I would like some. I would like a bit more emphasis put onto some of the siege maps and stuff, because as it stands for like major cities, they're basically generic. Let's face it, and they definitely need to be updated. Having for the major cities at least. Having something unique for the major cities would be really nice. And then just the townships and shit that you put walls on can be generic and whatever, but having unique cities would be a wonderful thing. Demons, as was stated before, could be interesting. Definitely not something I'm like striving for, however. Improvements on Chaos, because needing to have mods for fucking Chaos is always a bit of a pain in the ass. But hey, what can you do? Expectations. Besides Chaos Dwarves, none of this will happen, and we're just gonna have to put up with their stupid bullshit all over again.
Yeah.
Make the maps bigger.
All right. Do you guys want me to rant, or do you want me to like contain this?
Fucking right.
Yeah,
Go
right.
for it.
This is what I want. What I want is they add a final lord. I want them to add that final Lord pack to 2 before 3 comes out that fixes Beastmen, adds Throt, and fixes Wood Elves. And I want them for the 3rd game to have Southern Realms. I want them to have Southern Realms and Dogs of War as like the pre-order faction, and then the other factions be Ogre Kingdoms, Chaos Dwarves, Cathay, and then either Kislev or Ind. And then I want them to revamp diplomacy, trade, climates, and siege battles definitely, and fix them. Make them actually fun. And then maybe they'll add like DLC, like they'll add like Lord packs that add like more guys to Ogre Kingdoms and a new characters to Chaos Dwarves, like a Hobgoblin Khan special character that like runs a Khanate or whatever.
Shit,
and then
happen 101 basically.
Yeah, like I want, and maybe they'll add like the hinterlands and like not Australia and Nippon as race pack DLCs or something later on, and then more free LC lords for everybody else. And most of all, I would like for them to make Chaos Demons, like not just demons their own faction, but they have like the whole Chaos revamped, like it's Hordes of Chaos again, where there's no Warriors of Chaos and Norska. There's just the Hordes of Chaos. Beastmen are a part of it. Demons are summoned. You can run individual armies of each thematically through a legendary lord or a regular lord that runs them. But otherwise, it's like you get recruitment of every unit across all of those armies. What I think, and that's what I really want. What I think will actually happen is they're going to add Ogre Kingdoms half-ass as a race pack on that little section that they sectioned off on the other side of the mountains, the World's Edge Mountains, that they have in the Mortal Empires map right now. They're never gonna, and then they'll half-ass the siege mechanics. They won't touch diplomacy. They'll add Cathay, and it'll be overpowered for the express purpose of pandering to Chinese players of the game. They'll add demons. They'll be half-assed. They'll add Chaos Dwarves, which will just be good because of the auto-resolve system. And then they'll add like Kislev to make the people that think that the Empire, but with Bear Cavalry, is so much more important than every other faction. So
gotta get those fucking memes in.
Yeah, and then they'll sit there and like they will half-ass everything, and then they will never ever ever update Beastmen. That's what I think will actually happen.
Well, that is a sad but perhaps realistic note. I have a final true story about Warhammer Fantasy to send us off on. Thule, would you like to? Would you?
I don't know why you keep asking me. My answer's always going to be yes.
Yeah, that's why I ask. Z might say no, you know. Okay.
More fun if you have that.
Let me set the scene for you. Okay, we're in Sylvania. We're in Castle Drakenhof. Fucking Manlet the Karstein is sitting by the fireplace when out from the door comes Abarash, Master of the Blood Knights. He goes.
That's what I should have said. I wanted the other vampire guys added, but they are also overpowered.
Abarash struts over with his Chad stride, as of course you know who he is. He sits down across from Manlet. He takes a drink. He
offers them an invite to his CBT dungeon.
He looks at him and he goes, and he goes, Manfred, did I ever tell you about Neferata? She was your father's exotic Tomb King master. A fine piece of ass from a more archaic age.
Oh my god.
And it's the rest of the green text.
It's just the Ashoka Tano green text.
And that's the story of why Manfred von Karstein went to war.
Fucking hell. Watch this. Watch them like they never update Beastmen, but they have an update later that makes Helman Gorst decent.
Oh, fuck off.
It's like, why? You know, it's Helman Gorst. Fuck you.
Starting this DLC party right here, some random piece of shit necromancer nobody knows about, who has a single paragraph of lore about him. He has a fucking corpse car or something. I don't know. Fuck you.
I should add my last expectation. This is probably out there, but it's an expectation, not a hope. They're actually not planning on Total Warhammer 3 to be the end, and it's actually they're gonna pull a fast one, like a Christopher Paolini like fast one, where they're gonna be like, actually, it's not a trilogy anymore, it's a cycle, and then they add a fourth game, and it's Age of Sigmar. It's like the end of the end times, and then Age of Sigmar units and everything in Total Warhammer.
And the second you buy it, or like the second it releases, you can no longer play the Total Warhammer trilogy.
You just
stop existing.
Library.
You die.
All the torrents just disappear. Save games gone.
Fun deleted.
If you go to the Steam store and ask in the forums, they immediately ban you.
It's just a constant live stream of a bunch of actors they've hired.
A bunch of the red shirts from GW stores are made into the comment moderators on Steam forums.
That's just a coincidence. What is wrong with you? How dare you?
Did you really believe it would be this easy?
Oh my god.
Alright, I'm dead. I'm dying. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Oh my god, I guess.
Out of alcohol. All I have.
I think we burned out, kind of.
Yeah, I desperately need to go look at more mammoth buttholes. Like, my entire evening is, like, calculated. I know what I'm gonna do.